Willkommen zum Bookstock Festival. Hier sind eure Hosts Mona Amesian und Tarkan Bakti.
Hello!
Bookstock Tag 2.
Wie cool! Mega schön. Oh Mann, so schön, dass ihr alle da seid, zu Hause im Livestream, von wo auch immer ihr gerade zuschaut. Und natürlich auch voll cool, dass hier wieder so volles Haus ist. Vielleicht seid ihr zum ersten Mal hier heute, dann lasst euch einfach mal auf alles ein. Vielleicht wart ihr aber auch schon mal da, dann wisst ihr so grob, wie es hier läuft. Aber das ist ja das Coole an Bookstock. Das Setting bleibt immer gleich und wir sind irgendwie auch immer da. Aber der Rest ist natürlich neu. Also und mit dem Rest meine ich unsere richtig coolen Gäste. Sollen wir die einmal durchgehen für heute im Schnelldurchlauf?
Ganz schnell.
Also, Abby Jimenez wird heute da sein.
Wie Schwab.
Dann Aurora.
Wir können
Ihr
ruhig
dürft klatschen, bitte unbedingt. Aurora aus Norwegen.
Tahiri Mafi.
Und ein Teil des Casts von Maxton Hall mit Runa Greiner, Ben Felipe und Justus Riesner. Bitte.
Jawohl. Und damit herzlich willkommen zu Bookstock Tag 2. Oh, jetzt ist der Applaus aber schnell gestorben.
Ohne Applaus zum Sofa gehen, das geht nicht. Komm, wir machen noch mal.
Sobald der letzte Starname gefallen ist.
Ehrlich, alle Starnamen sind durch. Die beiden da vorne laufen zum Sofa, wir schweigen. Ja, was war das gestern?
War
für
gut.
Einen Tag?
War schön. Hattest du ein Highlight?
Ja, eigentlich hatte ich hier ein Highlight nach dem nächsten, aber klar, ne, so Caro Wahl fand ich super mit Mia Meyer, die über 22 Bahnen gesprochen haben. Hat mir mega viel Spaß gemacht, weil ich immer diese Hintergrundtalks so cool finde, wo man ein bisschen mehr aus anderen Branchen auch lernt. Aber mein absoluter Überraschungsgast war Jeffrey Deaver.
Der war so
direkt
toll.
Zum Start.
Der war so toll.
Das war richtig cool. Und du?
Ich fand besonders toll, als du mich Mr. Fantasy genannt hast.
Ja, das habe ich mir gedacht.
Das war schön. Und wenn ihr gerade denkt, worüber reden die, und ihr Tag 1 verpasst habt, den ganzen Stream gibt es zum Nachgucken auf YouTube. Könnt ihr euch einfach reinklicken. Und ja, vielleicht habe ich ein paar Mal jetzt auch im Alltag versucht, den Spitznamen zu etablieren.
Ja, seit gestern.
Mr. Fantasy.
So, kommen wir mal zu heute, oder? Ich habe bei der ersten Autorin, die wir heute begrüßen, ganz lange drüber nachgedacht, wie ich zu ihr hinleite. Ich habe ihre beiden aktuellsten Bücher gelesen. Ich habe super viel über sie gelesen und habe gemerkt, eine Sache taucht immer wieder auf und das sind Tiere. Und bei Tieren ist sofort was anderes in meinem Kopf aufgeploppt, nämlich hier Mr. Fantasy, Tarkan. Der hat nämlich seit neuestem eine Katze. Und wir haben uns ja ein paar Mal getroffen im Vorfeld, um über all das hier zu reden. Und ja, Tarkan hat nicht aufgehört, über die Katze zu reden. Mini hier, Mini da, Mini schläft schlecht, Mini versteckt sich irgendwo. Ich konnte es einfach nicht mehr hören irgendwann. Und deswegen habe ich dann auch gedacht, das ist mir irgendwie ein bisschen zu risky. Ich glaube, wir lassen das, weil er tendiert da ein bisschen auch zu so leichten Übertreibungen. Deswegen würde ich sagen, wir kommen einfach direkt zur Autorin, oder?
Auf jeden Fall.
Perfekt. Sie ist Dauergast auf den Bestsellerlisten und zwar egal, ob New York Times oder Spiegel. In diesem Jahr sind 2 neue Bücher hier bei uns erschienen, Say You Remember Me und Just for the Summer. Das sind die beiden, von denen ich gerade gesprochen habe, dass ich sie gerade erst gelesen habe. Parallel führt sie aber auch man kann es nicht anders sagen, ein Backimperium in den USA in Minnesota, wo sie mit ihrer Familie lebt. Und sie sagt über sich, dass sie auf gute Liebesgeschichten steht, auf Kaffee und, da sind sie wieder, auf winzige Hunde. Herzlich willkommen, a warm welcome, Abby Jimenez. I have a little incident with my mic. Could you just help me? Oh, a big one?
No.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, Abby. What is that? So nice to have you here. Is it your first time in Germany?
Yes, it is beautiful here.
Yes.
Gorgeous. We saw so many things.
Yeah, great.
We went to I can't even tell you what we saw because I can't pronounce them.
But here in Munich, so describe, what was it like?
Okay, we went to the residence. We saw the treasury. Beautiful, absolutely amazing. We ate lots of schnitzel, lots and lots. Let's see, what else did we do? Oh, and we had the Bavaria cream. Yes? Am I saying it right? Bavarian cream?
Bavarian cream.
The dessert?
Bayerische Creme.
Ach so.
It's like, yeah.
I don't know what's
the correct translation. Yeah, it's a dessert. So, and are you staying here for a bit or traveling? Because I met your family, lovely, there with you here, just for some days, just for the show. Are you traveling around Europe a little?
We had a few days in Munich, so that was very nice. And then we're going to lots of cities: Hamburg, Berlin, Frankfurt. Cool. Yes, all over.
Like a little Germany tour.
Yes.
And I don't know about your German skills yet, but I just dropped that you are a huge fan of animals. So in your latest book, we can see here, there is a kitten that is a kind of wing woman, and we have date nights that are starting with cat cuddling, dogs everywhere in your stories. There are even raccoon babies in some protagonists' bras. What is it with you and the animals? Why is your animal love so big?
I love animals. I do a lot of rescue work back in the US. Funny story, though, about the raccoon in the bras. My editor wanted me to take that out.
Why?
She didn't think anybody...
It's too crazy.
She didn't think anybody would put a raccoon in their bra.
You
and
tried?
I said, I cannot explain this kind of woman to you. I'm just going to tell you they exist.
Was it you?
You know, I feel like I know too much. So I don't know. Maybe if you got enough drinks in me, if you got enough beer in me, I might put a raccoon in my bra.
And you have 2 dogs, right?
Yes. Well, I have 4 dogs.
4 dogs?
Yes.
Oh
my daughter actually just went off to college and took 2 of the dogs with her, so we're down to 2.
Sounds like you're missing the dogs more than your daughter.
I mean, I can call her. I can't FaceTime with the dogs.
Maybe they're watching.
The dogs?
Yeah, maybe.
Ah.
Someone sits them back there in Minnesota. You can say hi to the dogs.
I love animals, though. There will always be an animal in my books.
Oh, cool. So we want to dive a little deeper in your books, but first question I have to ask you, do you finally have a proper desk at home?
No.
What? I think
yet.
we have to explain because not everyone eventually saw the video you posted. So Abby posted a video telling her fans that she wrote several best-selling books on her cell phone.
Yes.
And she hasn't a proper workspace at home. Why?
I have no desk. I usually just write on my phone, on my cell phone, on my sofa in my living room. It's very loud and very distracting. So we decided that we were going to build me a writing space. We were going to build me an office. So my house is under a remodel right now, so we can actually give me like a dignified space to write. Because I've managed to write, you know, what is it, 7 bestsellers now like this.
That's crazy.
Your phone?
That's
on my phone, yeah, in a Google Doc, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you. You didn't listen. That is so crazy. But you have to have a writing routine. Any kind of, no.
The only routine that I have is that I don't write before 12 o'clock noon because I'm too groggy. Like I need coffee, I need to be up for a few hours, I need to take a shower, I need to go for, you know, a walk, get some exercise. Because when I write before that, it's not good. I have to redo it.
That is so impressive, especially by having a look on the other things you're doing. I already said something about your, your second career, let's say it like that, the cakes.
Yes.
You're baking a lot, and you have several cake stores, right, in the US. You were in TV shows, they won prizes. So like it's very impressive. I looked them up, they're so cute as well. What was your first love? Good cupcakes or good romance stories?
Oh my, I'd have to say cupcakes just because I started eating those like when I was a baby. and I didn't start reading romance until I was in high school. But the cupcakes did come first. So I opened up a cake business out of my home, and I did that for several years when my babies were small. And then we opened up our cake businesses, and then the books came after that.
So you opened the stores when you had a newborn, a 1-year-old, and a 2-year-old baby?
Yes,
all
in diapers.
All in diapers?
It was very hard, yeah.
Wow. How many times did you think that was a mistake?
Every day.
Wait, the cupcake business or the kids?
No, the cupcake business. Well, both at the same time. It was the hardest 2 years of my entire life. Very, very, very hard. I did by myself what takes 4 full-time people to do in my bakeries today.
That's crazy.
So it was very hard work, but it paid off. We have 3 bakery locations in the United States, and we've been on all these TV shows, and it's been very fun. Yeah.
And it must be hard to be so far away from your cupcakes right now. This is why we bought you some in a very cool bakery here in Munich. They're coming with Robin. Thank you. Look at those. Oh my gosh. There's your cover on it.
Very beautiful, thank you.
There's your book cover on it. And I think you do something like that sometimes. So when every book has their own cupcake, right?
Yes. Every book gets a special cupcake that's inspired by the book, and we sell it in my bakeries.
Did you ever have it the other way around? You ate a cupcake and thought,
this could be a book.
This could be a book.
Not yet, not yet.
So,
well, try.
So what was the cupcake flavor of Say You Remember Me?
Oh, it is a guava cake.
A guava cake.
Guava cake. It's very good.
Very
because
special.
Samantha mentions in the book that she loves the guava pastries from Porto's, which is a very famous bakery in California.
And just for the summer?
Yeah.
And just for the summer?
Oh, just for the summer. Oh, man. Which one was that? It was a citrusy cake with pineapple. It was a summer flavor, summer cake, yeah.
I'm asking for a friend, do you ship your cupcakes to Europe?
We ship them to Canada. That's as far as we've managed to get them so far.
Close. Yeah, So I read a lot about you. It's so funny that a lot of journalists coming up with headlines on you writing, and they mix your writing up with you being a baker. For example, I had one here. Star baker Abby Jimenez can whip up romances as easily as she does cakes. I love that. Or Jimenez's new book is The Cherry on Top. Yep. Or third one, Abby Jimenez knows the recipe for success.
Yep.
What is it?
Hard work. Don't ever give up.
And a lot of sugar.
And a lot of sugar, yes.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yes, please. No, but you had this career that was cool, working, paying off. And how does the writing fit into that? How did you start with writing on a professional level?
So after my 3rd bakery was opened and up and running, I decided to take a step back because I had been working really, really hard for a really long time. And when I took the step back, I finally got time to read again. So I started reading romance like I used to in high school and just really fell back in love with the genre, and I kept finding myself looking for a certain kind of romance that I was having a hard time finding. I wanted something that was funny, but also that had depth. I wanted the characters to feel like real people, and I could find those things, but it wasn't ever in the same book, I felt. It was hard to find all in the same book. So I got the idea that I would write one. So I used to do creative writing in high school. That was the only formal training I had with writing. And I joined an online writing group called Critique Circle. And I wrote my first book in there, and it got really good reception. So I got a literary agent, and it just sort of went really fast. Like it snowballed really, really fast. But the cupcakes and the writing, they're both introvert activities. I'm an introvert,
and they became very extrovert.
Yes, I'm just very lucky that the things that I like to do in my little introvert hermit hidey hole are things that other people like to buy.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Do you have readers coming to your cake stores?
Oh, absolutely, yes, yes. We sell signed copies of my books in my bakeries.
Smart.
And people come, it's a pilgrimage. They come from all over, and they come and they get the cupcakes and they get a signed copy of the book.
I have to tell you a funny story. A few weeks ago, I was sitting in Cologne, the city where I live, in a cafe reading Say You Remember Me, totally falling in love with Xavier, like many, many people did. And then the waitress came by, and I looked up, and she wore a T-shirt with the claim, "Boys are better in books."
Yep.
I swear. And I was like, whoa, oh my God, your shirt fits my book. But it's really striking because in both of your new books, the male characters are nearly perfect. They're loving, they're sweet, they're funny, they're caring, they're freaking hot as well. Didn't you ever think, oh, maybe Justin needs a little red flag, a little one? Or isn't there such a thing as like boys being too perfect in books?
I feel like there's too many red flags in real life.
Good point.
I love the heroes that I get to write because they don't frustrate me as I'm writing them, like real men frustrate me in real life. And I don't know that I'll ever write anything different. I really, really like the kind of men that I get to put into these books, you know? And they do exist in real life. I have one. I'm married to a hero that's just like the ones in my book.
That's what I wanted to add. They exist, but they're not single.
No.
A walking green flag.
Yes.
That's so cool. You have a lot of contact to your readers as well. What are they mostly looking for in your books? Is it distraction? Is it escapism? Is it falling in love every time again? What is it?
I think they enjoy the roller coaster ride, you know? It starts off really light and rom-com-y, and then we start to get into some deeper things that, you know, you might not expect in a romance with a cartoon cover. And I think people feel very seen in my books. I think that I incorporate topics that exist within the folds of everyday life, you know?
Family,
romance,
a lot of family issues.
family, you know, domestic violence, emotional abuse. You know, there's so many very deep dementia. There's a lot of very deep topics that are real life topics. And in real life, when you're falling in love, you don't get to just omit those things. You know, you fall in love in and around the things that happen in everyday life. And so that's why I like my characters to navigate those things. And I think a lot of readers come away from my books having either learned something new or feeling seen. Maybe they saw their own story in the book, or maybe they recognized somebody in one of my books and they better understand somebody that they love because they read it in, you know, the easily digestible, you know, pages of a romance novel, you know, where the end is, we know it's going to be wrapped up and everything's going to be okay. You know, I think readers like the emotional safe space that is romance.
In Just for the Summer, your main characters, Emma and Justin, both have a kind of curse. Say like that. When they date someone and they break up, their exes always go on and find the one in their next relationship. Who or what was your inspiration for that plot?
It was actually one of my really good friends. She lives across the street from me, and she beta reads all of my books. And we go on these plot walks, you know, like where we'll talk about the whatever book I'm thinking about. And we were on a walk, and she was telling me about her love life. And she said, I feel like I'm a foster home for broken men. She said, every man that I date goes and gets married after we break up. And I was like, I like that.
Very good.
It's like, I'm going to use that. I said, and I told her, I said, what you need is you need a guy who has the same problem. And then when you guys date, you'll cancel each other out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love
Ready,
this.
book. Are you a spiritual person? Are you like believing in those things, supernatural powers?
You know, I kind of do. I kind of do believe that some things are destined. I believe in kismet. I believe in fate. You know, you still have to make good decisions. But yeah, I do. I'm definitely a romantic.
Let's jump to, yes, please. Maybe you have to be one to write those stories. Let's jump to Say You Remember Me. It's a story about making memories and losing those memories. How many of your own memories are in this book, or are you mostly working with fiction? Fiction.
It's always a little bit of both, but for this particular book, I did draw on my own childhood growing up in Glendale. The house that I wrote into the book is my grandfather's house that I grew up going to, and the car that Samantha drives was my real-life 1966 Dodge Dart convertible that I drove when I was 16, and everything that happens to Samantha in the book happened to me in that car. That car fell apart for me for 2 years, fell apart, all the parts falling off it. So I wrote that into the story, which is really nostalgic for me. I had a really good time writing this.
So you put it on a stage. It has his good part now after all those.
Yes, I actually bought myself one. My husband said, you know what, you've been talking about this car for 30 years. He said, why don't you just go buy one? So I did. I bought myself the car that I grew up driving.
Back to the roots.
Yes.
Car roots.
Only I'm going to completely fix it so nothing falls off of it.
You better do.
Like your friend, she's going to fix it and then someone else is going to drive it.
Yes. Or I'll be too afraid to drive it because it's too nice.
No.
Just watch it staying there. So you once said that you want to write the books you were looking for yourself, which in my opinion is one of the greatest motivations to write. What does a romance story need to be a really good one?
Well, you've got to have conflict. You've got to have good conflict. You've got to have good conflict. You've got to have good best friends in the book. It's a little writing hack, you know, that each of the characters needs to have a good best friend, because the best friend can yell at them and say all the things that you as the reader want to yell at them, but you can't. You know, I think it's really important that they have those strong friendships in the book, whether it's, you know, family members or just somebody to bounce their thoughts off of and to tell them when they're not being very smart.
And imagine you're hosting a masterclass for young writers. Maybe we have some here tonight. What would be your greatest advice when someone wants to start writing romance novels?
My greatest advice would be to find a writing community to join and get yourself some critique partners. Particularly the writing communities on the internet, because the strangers of the internet will always tell you the truth. And you need that. You need that as a writer.
Do you have a writing community that tells you the truth in the internet?
Do.
Yes.
Yes. The site that I used is called Critique Circle. It is an international site, so if you want to join Critique Circle, it was very, very valuable to me. Now, I, of course, have editors, but I do have some very strong, very trusted beta readers. I use advisors and sensitivity readers on my books to make sure that things are accurate and respectfully depicted. So, yes, I use a lot of different eyes on my books.
Okay, I don't know if that exists in German.
Friends?
Yes, no, friends. Do you have friends?
People telling you the truth?
Critique, but I see some people nodding. Cool. Do we have some questions?
Of course, we have
on our live
questions
stream?
on the chat. Which of your books was your favorite book to write so far?
I really enjoyed writing Say You'll Remember Me. There's always a part when you're editing your book where you're just so tired of looking at it. And I never felt like that with Say You'll Remember Me. It was a joy to come back to every single time. Now, my favorite character in a book is Jacob from Yours Truly.
See people nodding to that as well.
Jacob has anxiety, and I wrote my own anxiety into Jacob, so he's very much me. And he's just such a good person, you know. He was a joy to create.
And for someone who wants to start reading your books, where to start? Which book would you recommend to start?
I would say start at the beginning. Start with Part of Your World, then do Yours Truly, then do Just for the Summer, then Say You'll Remember Me.
Because and all the others.
And all the others.
Good answer.
My books are all standalones, but they are connected. So if you want to get the most out of the reading experience, it's really fun to revisit, characters that you fell in love with, to see their progression as the storylines go on. So, starting with Part of Your World, you'll get to meet everybody, and then you'll really appreciate as you go through the books, because we do see these people again.
And do you listen to music while you're writing? And if so, what kind of music?
I do not listen to music while I write because I find it very distracting. I do always make a playlist, though, for the books that I write, and then I will listen to that in the in-between times when I'm, need to rest my brain or I need to take a little step back from the book. And then the music I listen to, it's all kinds. I love, 70s, 80s, 90s, alternative music. Gosh, I listen to everything.
You've described the romance genre and why you write it with so much passion and so much depth. It's hard to imagine, but there's a question, if you would maybe try out another genre, if so, which one?
I will never say no to a book that speaks to me. So if I ever got the idea to write a book that was outside of my genre, I would write it, because the best book is always the book you feel like writing. And that's the one that's going to be the easiest to get out of you. It's going to be, probably the most relatable to readers because you're feeling it, So if I ever did get an idea, I absolutely would write something else, yeah.
And we would absolutely read it.
Yeah. Maybe some fantasy.
Yes. Oh, wow. Cool.
Mr. Fantasy.
Mr. Fantasy is all over the place.
I'm doing it. I'm establishing the nickname.
So I have a very last question. I'm just struggling a little bit because I do not know if I'm allowed to ask, but we already saw the cover of your next book. Yes, we already know the title. It's The Night We Met. The subtitle in German is Richtiger Ort, richtiger Mann, falsche Entscheidung. Right place, right man, wrong decision. What can you tell us about that new book?
There's going to be a lot of yearning. There's going to be a lot of pining. This is a very slow burn romance because it is about a man who is in love with his best friend's girlfriend.
Ooh. Yeah. There we have the conflict.
You hooked us.
Oh. So we can't wait, but we have to wait a little bit. Yeah. So at that point, here we say thank you very much, Abby Jimenez. Take your cupcakes.
Yes, don't forget the cupcakes. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us.
I have to give some to B.E. Schwab.
You
yes,
can.
Do it. Oh, hast du das auch gerochen?
Die Cupcakes,
das zog die ganze Zeit hier rüber. Ich hoffe, man hat, also Kai in der Regie, wenn man meinen Magen knurren gehört hat im Stream, dann tut mir leid, aber das roch sehr gut. Vielleicht mopsen wir uns nachher noch ein.
Ja, wir hatten eigentlich 506 fürs Publikum geplant.
Ja, die hat Tarkan alle gegessen.
Die habe ich leider alle gegessen. Nein, habe ich nicht. Das würde ich niemals tun.
Niemals.
Es waren nur 500.
Niemals. So,
ja.
Was jetzt?
Thema Vampire würde ich gerne mal aufmachen.
Hatten wir noch nie hier bei Bookstock.
Wir haben schon eine sehr wichtige Vampirfrage nämlich geklärt. Team Jacob oder Team Edward. Du hast dich geoutet als Team Jacob oder stolz bekannt. Robin, woo!
Nee. Also so cool Robin auch ist, ich glaube, das Woo ging an Jacob.
Ach so. Oh.
Aber Robin, ich bin auch Team Robin auf jeden Fall. Ja, aber die haben wir jetzt durch, ne?
Genau, jetzt würde ich gerne was anderes klären, was sehr wichtig ist, nämlich Kiss, Marry, Kill in der Vampir-Edition. Bist du bereit?
Ja,
ich habe die 3 bekanntesten Vampire Deutschlands rausgesucht.
Ja, mach.
Kiss, Marry, Kill. Graf Dracula, Edward Cullen oder Graf Zahl?
Okay, warte. Kiss, Marry, Kill. Einfach, ich fange von hinten an. Kill, auf jeden Fall Graf Dracula. Ist, glaube ich, der bekannteste, aber ich finde es auch mit Abstand den gruseligsten. Ja. Mary, Graf Zahl, weil ich den irgendwie, ich glaube, mit dem hast du immer irgendwie, der bringt dich immer zum Lachen. Der ist irgendwie süß und der wird niemals unseren Jahrestag vergessen. Das ist auch ein Vorteil.
Wir sind seit 1, 2, 3 Jahren verheiratet.
Genau.
Nicht schlecht.
Ja, und Kiss dann Edward, weil der ist schon, glaube ich, so der hübscheste von den 3. Aber ich würde ihn natürlich nur küssen, um Jacob eifersüchtig zu machen.
Na klar. Stabile
Antwort.
Oder? Ja.
Und du?
Das war so bombenfest argumentiert, da kann ich nirgendwo zwischengehen. Das würde ich genauso machen.
Graf Zahl.
Mary Graf Zahl. Nee, Mary Graf Zahl finde ich eine sehr gute.
Oder?
Du hast die perfekte Antwort gegeben. Ich weiß nicht, ob unser nächster Gast, unsere nächste Gästin, sich diese Frage auch schon mal gestellt hat. Vielleicht, denn sie hat sich schon sehr viel mit Vampiren beschäftigt. Sie hat viel über Vampire geschrieben, unter anderem in ihrem neuen Buch. Da geht es auch um Vampire. Und das heißt Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil. Und hier ist die wunderbare B.E. Schwab. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
We are very glad as well. You are one person in particular.
Thank you.
You are obviously a very beloved and successful writer, but you're also a very avid reader. You read around 100 books a year, I heard?
This year, I'm aiming for 150.
150?
I know. I treat it like a job.
Or sport, like a sport.
It's
almost.
like a sport. It's a hobby, a sport, a passion, an occupation.
Obsession.
I think what I've discovered is that I'm not capable of doing anything lightly. I don't do anything casually.
You go into it 100%.
I don't write casually. I don't live casually. I make everything as hard as it needs to be. Like I'm learning violin, Japanese, and I'm training for my first marathon. I don't like to choose easy hobbies. Yeah.
Wow.
And do you sleep sometimes, or?
This is the problem. This is the problem. I actually love sleep. And people are like, oh, you must just never sleep. And I'm like, no, sleep is the one thing that we don't move it. Like I need a lot of sleep, but I'm very, very good or very bad, depending on how you look at it, at multitasking. Mm-hmm. You will see me on a spin bike doing Duolingo. You will see me running and listening to an audiobook. I always have a book in my hand and a book in my ears.
Otherwise, you wouldn't get to 150.
No.
That's more than 2 books a week.
Yes.
It's crazy. Does anybody read more than 2 books a week? No.
Oh, I feel like, I was going to say.
Really?
Some of them.
In this audience,
What?
yes.
Who reads more than 200? No. What? Okay. She's reading right now, actually.
I was going to say.
No, she has her AirPods on, listening to 2 books at a
Earbuds.
time.
What's your current read?
Oh my goodness, I'm currently reading 4 different things. But the thing is, I think of it the way like some people watch television and they will watch 1 episode of one show and then go one episode of another
second screening?
Oh, no.
Okay, you don't second
That's
book?
a crime.
It's a crime.
It's a crime to 2 screen. No, I'm currently reading a book on like the House of Beauty, which is about like it's a nonfiction book coming out soon on the history of beauty culture. And I'm also reading The Everlasting, which is a book coming out very soon from Alex Harrow.
Oh, and they don't get mixed up in your head if you switch?
You know, I think my head is already such a jumbled place. My head is already so crowded with every character I've ever written that I think, what's one more?
That's true. And you yourself also write a lot of stories.
I do.
It's book number 20, I think?
25.
25 even.
25 in, oh yeah. In 15 years.
You treat it like a sport again.
Are you aiming 150
for my lifetime? Yes. I mean, I'd be really happy if I break 100. My problem is I'm slowing down and the books are getting larger. So I need to write some very short books if I'm going to make that goal.
Were you like that as a child as well? Like everything had to be competitive? Not competitive is the wrong word. But
No. Competitive is the right word.
Yeah.
Competitive is the right word. I was not a big reader, but I was a big athlete.
Oh, what kind of sport?
Soccer. Football.
Soccer.
Yeah, so I was a footballer for 14 years. And if you had asked me when I was in my teens what I was going to do, it was be a World Cup footballer. It was not be a writer.
But then you had an injury in the knee.
I did. and then I changed sports and I became a nationally ranked fencer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fencer.
Up to that part, that's a conversation you have on every party in Germany.
Yes.
Some guy in his mid-20s will tell you, I was going to be...
knee injury? Oh,
Yeah, a knee injury.
But
yeah.
no one follows it up with fencing.
Yeah.
You did fencing as
Yes,
well.
and I did épée, which is the one that you can hit the whole body, because in my mind, I'm like, of course you can hit the whole body. It's a sword. But yes, I'm also unfortunately very short. Doesn't make me a good fencer. I don't have a long enough arm reach.
But aren't you
I'm spry.
harder to...
Yeah, I'm very spry, so I was nimble. But yeah, I didn't find writing until my late teens.
And what was it that made you shift from fencing, football to
He's
sitting
not
down?
done with the sport.
No, I didn't. You know, I went to school for astrophysics.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'm obviously... I'm not an astrophysicist, so don't applaud. My father, very disappointed. I went to school for astrophysics. I changed my major 6 times, and I ended up with my parents saying, please, for the love of God, just graduate. We know that you're not going to do any of these things, because at some point in there, I found writing. I came from poetry. So all through my teens, I was playing with poetry. And then when I was 18, I decided I'm going to write a novel to see if I could. Because the thing about writing a book is that starting is easy. Well, dreaming is easy, starting is hard, and finishing is the hardest. And the vast majority of writers out there will never finish a novel. And I needed to prove to myself that I could. And I decided to take all of my poetic leanings and simply infuse them into my fiction to try and find my voice. And so once I got to the end of my first book, when I was in my second year of college, it was addictive. It was unlike anything I'd ever done, and I couldn't stop.
And we really hope you don't.
Well, I try not to.
You have written a lot of beautiful books. All of them are very beloved, but I think a few stand out. The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, for example.
Definitely.
I think we have some fans here. It's a really impressive book.
Thank you.
And it was 10 years in the making, I think.
It was. I spent most of my 20s not writing it. I actually had the initial idea for it about 6 months before my debut novel came out in 2011. And what happened was I'm a perfectionist. And the thing about perfectionism is when you have an idea and it lives in your mind, it's perfect. It's perfect because it doesn't exist. Only imperfect things exist and only perfect things remain as ideas. And I was so afraid of writing this idea down and becoming imperfect.
But you can't make it perfect.
I know.
Well, you came very close with the book.
I mean, it's contentious. All of my books are contentious. That's kind of my favorite thing about them is for everyone out there who loves that book is somebody who doesn't. And I'm great with that. I'm fine with that. But when I was 29, I realized I was at this crossroads, much like Henry in that book. And I thought, oh, I have two very easy choices. I either die without writing this book, or I, like not immediately, but just I don't write the book, or I do. I either deal with my perfectionism or I don't. And I decided that I would rather have an imperfect reality than a perfect idea. And that's the only reason that Eddie LaRue ever got written.
And your newest book, beautiful title, by the way, Bury Your Bones in the Midnight. So it's based on a poem that's referenced in a book that was written by you before the book, or did you write the book and came up with the poem?
I mean, it's like Inception, isn't it? What came first? I wrote the poem first because I knew I wanted to write a vampire novel. I wanted to write a vampire novel, but I didn't want to use the word vampire. In fact, the word vampire is used, I don't know about the translation, but in English, it's used one time.
Really?
In the entire book. In the entire book, the word vampire is used one time. And I wanted to do this for a few reasons, but most of which was because this is a story about queer humanity and about queer identity. And I wanted to make sure that I had a terminology and a system of reference that they chose for themselves. Vampire, like so many words, is a word that is applied to the people in this book, not a word that they would have chosen. So I wanted to create a metaphor that I could use to help the vampires in the story imagine themselves. And so I came up with this garden metaphor for things planted in the garden and what grows in this kind of soil. And my vampires became my roses. They became the hardiest, most beautiful, sharpest thorned plants in my metaphorical garden.
And it's a beautiful metaphor because roses are beautiful, but if you're not careful, they have thorns.
I know. And I'll never forget, I was walking in Brooklyn. I was just like pacing, as I sometimes want to do when I'm trying to think. And I came upon the cadence of the last line of the poem, which is soft red petals hiding sharp white teeth. And I don't know, I kept repeating it over and over again in this mantra-like way. And so then as I sat down and began to write the novel, this poem became a through line for everyone in it. It's a poem that's used as a blessing, as a curse, as a whisper in bed between lovers, as a threat. It's something that can mean anything that depends on the user to imbue it with power. And what I also love from a storytelling perspective is that we don't know who wrote it. The person that wrote it predates this book.
I actually thought it was a real poem. I mean, it is a real poem, but I mean, it's like a real old poem.
I know.
Like because it has this aura. And I was very amazed when I found out, no, it's just, you just wrote it. And I'm like, it can't be real. It has to be Shakespeare or something.
Oh, well, thank you. But I'm always really interested in stories within stories. And when I'm building a world, even though this is set in our world, like Addie.
Is it set in the same world as Addie? It feels similar.
Well, Addie LaRue and Bury Our Bones are both set in my version of our world, right? They deal with real place, real time, real history. So hypothetically, anyone from either one of those two books could run into each other.
They could meet.
And they could. And there is a cameo. There is a cameo in the book between a character from Addie LaRue and a character from Bury Our Bones.
How did I miss that?
It's hidden.
Oh.
It's hidden, but if you go, I could say, and if you could go and look at somebody's list of lovers,
okay,
you will find that someone has had a lover from the other book. Because I loved this idea of this is our world, this is our garden that I'm playing in, and yeah, I think anyone could cross paths. I
was also amazed when you mentioned that it's just that the word vampire is just used one time, because what I liked very much is that they are very classic vampire rules. Yeah. Like they can't get in if they're not invited. Did you start out like, maybe I'll take one rule, and then it kind of made a lot of sense, or even you had fun with it? Or was it something that you, from the beginning, planted to go like, you know what, a classic vampire rules are going to apply in this book?
Well, in so many ways, it's a love letter to not only Anne Rice and that genre of kind of gothic romanticism, but to Dracula and the vampire and Carmilla and these works which far predate Twilight, which is a fabulous cultural icon of a story, but also a very sanitized, very straight story. And if you look at what vampires represent inherently in narratives, it was queerness. It was a queering of the norm. It was a defiance of the binary and of gender rules. And so I wanted to make sure that I got back to those originals. But when it came down to the rules, I held them each to the light and said, does it serve? Mm-hmm. And if it served, I kept it. And if it didn't, I let it go. And there are some rules that I've modified. They can't go in the sun, but they don't self-immolate. They just get weaker. Like they get sicker. That made more sense to me than them bursting into flames. But I love the example that you give, the threshold. You cannot enter a house uninvited. But again, because this is a queer story, and I wanted to make sure that my characters, my vampires, had a place to call home, my rule goes both ways. So they can also declare space their own. They can, if they believe in and possess a space enough, they can protect it from other monsters. So they always have a place to call home.
It's such an elegant metaphor because it's so simple, but it makes a lot of sense. And you once said you don't, I don't know the exact words, I don't know if you said you don't want to write or you don't want to read coming out stories, but you want
I want to read queer existence.
Existence stories,
okay, yeah. And I love coming out stories. Let me get very clear with that.
Yeah.
But I came out in my adulthood. And as somebody who came out in their late 20s, what I needed as somebody who was just coming out wasn't a teenage coming out story. I needed a queer existence story. I needed to know that I could take up space in the world and that my virtue of inclusion in a story wasn't just because of my pain or my trauma or my coming out experience. Because so often what a coming out experience is yes, we get to be the main characters of those stories, but we only get to be the main characters of those stories because they're about that one piece of our life. Whereas every queer person I know, have ever met, and am, has so much more to us than that one thing. We have found family, we have community, we have love, we have villainy, we have the full spectrum of human experience. And when we only let queer characters, and by extension queer humans, have one kind of story, what does that tell us about queer people?
It makes queerness to a plot device.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we're only a plot device, we're not people. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to me that we get to have as many nuances and complexities, even if that makes us sometimes villains. Sometimes the full breadth of the spectrum from hero to villain, which is a role that for so often only straight characters got to have. I want to have that too. I want to get to be on page as a villain as well as a hero.
You have 3 protagonists in your vampire story, and I'm not gonna. 2 of them kind of toxic, but let's not talk about them in detail because I don't want to.
All 3 are toxic.
Yeah, But I don't want to spoil anything.
No spoilers.
But there's one character in particular that really touched me, Can you guess which one?
No, this is what I love is I can't guess because every person who has said that has given me a different answer. So I want to know because it really speaks to where you're at in your life and your arc. Which one of them spoke to you?
But you have to do a little analysis afterwards.
Exactly. Because I will judge you,
right.
but in a nice way.
But
it Sabine?
No, it's not Sabine, but Sabine is someone I would fall in love with.
Yeah, I mean, that's same.
Alice.
See, I love that. Alice is the closest thing to a protagonist we have. But what I want to say, and this is not a spoiler, this book ends where I think a lot of people expect a book like this to start. And so I want you to think about the fact that, like, this book is in many ways an origin story for who Alice will be.
You know what? That's, I think, why it spoke to me, because I don't see myself in Alice, but I see myself in the person that Alice is becoming throughout the book, or I want to see myself, because she starts out as someone who's afraid to take up space, who's afraid to constantly apologizing. I don't do that anymore, and it feels really good.
So this is the thing. Alice, Charlotte, Sabine, youngest to oldest, they each represent a different stage of my own coming out journey. Alice, 18, is afraid to take up space. She doesn't know who she is or who she wants to be. Charlotte knows exactly who she is and is too afraid to be it. And Sabine knows exactly who she is and is unapologetic. And so where you're at in your life is really kind of a reflection of how you relate to those three characters. Do you feel fear of living honestly? Do you feel confusion of who you even are? Or do you feel like you're in your burn it all down stage of, like, Sabine is my manifestation of realizing that we're allowed to have wants as well as needs. And so often, specifically as women and femme-presenting people, and specifically in the queer community especially, we're taught not even to have needs. Like, we have to fight for needs, let alone ever getting to have desires.
And if one theme is very present as well, it's desire and hunger and lust. And you just mentioned the ending. I think it is also something you said, that you think the most important part of the story is the ending.
Yeah, and apparently mine are very controversial, and I didn't know this, but I'm not surprised. I write all of my stories backward from the ending.
You start with the end.
And 25 books in, the endings have never changed. To me, the ending is the entire point of my writing the story. So people are always like, oh, did you know it was going to end like that? I'm like, of course I did. I have to stand 10 toes down on whatever ending I do, because to me, I always knew how this book was going to end. I always knew it. And so I just had that absolute conviction of how I would build up to that moment. Like, a character like Alice is reactive and reactive and reactive, and it's pressurizing her until the moment she's active. Whereas Sabine and Charlotte are on completely different arcs, and I got to trace all three of them knowing that we end up in that penthouse in Boston.
But is it just plotting from the end to the beginning, or also writing from the end to backwards?
My writing,
that would be crazy.
Okay, so it's crazier though.
Oh, okay. I close my eyes.
My writing process
do a handstand.
Is unhinged, because I plot so I find my ending and I rewind everybody to find the beginning. And I build the entire book in what I would call narrative order, the order in which all of you read it. But that's not how I write it. I take that narrative order where we jump from this character to this character and this timeline to this timeline, and then I break it apart into chronological order, the order in which each of the three women will live it, from their beginning to their end. And then I sit down and I write chronologically from the moment we meet Sabine to the moment we leave her.
And then you mix.
And then I put it all back together.
Okay, it's crazy.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
You could have just studied astrology. It would have been easier.
I could have been an astrophysicist.
But how does this work technically? So we talked to Rebecca Yaros yesterday about her huge whiteboard and her post-its and how she managed it. Are you working physically, or is it all
It's
in your
almost
head?
all in my head. And then I use an app called Scrivener, which allows me to essentially open 100 Word documents at the same time. It creates a table of contents, and then I will move each piece around visually in the table of contents, and then I can pull it all out, and I'll spend the next 6 months writing Sabine. And I'll just write her life. And that way we feel the whole time I'm with her like she's the main character of the book. And then I write Charlotte, and she's the main character of her book. And Alice is the main character of hers. And then when I feed them back together, even though you're jumping from character to character and timeline to timeline, I know, okay, Sabine is beginning to psychologically and emotionally rot. And here's the point where she becomes an unreliable narrator. And then here's the point where Charlotte becomes an unreliable narrator. And I can track it in really subtle ways because for me, it was the whole picture for a really long time.
So we talked a bit too long, but we have...
I'm so sorry.
No.
It was so interesting.
Before we come to the end of this talk, let's jump into the chat.
I think we have time for one question. Let's just check here. This one is good. Is there a supernatural being that you haven't written about yet, but really want to?
I think I've written about most of them. I like to invent new ones all the time, I'll try to like make my own. Like in Gallant, there's ghouls that behave in really specific ways, regardless of whether I'm playing in an existing patch. I think I'm about ready to come back around to witches because I started with witches, with the Near Witch, and I kind of haven't gotten to play. But I think there might be a place in this world for them, because we're hinted at over the course of Addie and now Bury Our Bones that there's other things going bump in the night. So you meet old gods in The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, you meet vampires in Bury Our Bones, but you also encounter Ezra in a coffee shop that has other kinds of people in it. And so I'm starting to say, like the question I posed to myself when I finished this book, I wrote it on a Post-it, I put it on my wall, is what else grows in the garden? And then if you're looking at it from the garden metaphor, what is an old god scared of? You know, what become the climbing vines? What become the strangling roots? What become the nurturers of a garden? And what become the dangers?
We got deep in the end.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about your work.
Thank you all so much.
Peace out. Thank you so much.
Wahnsinn, ich finde das immer so krass, mir vorzustellen, dass dann so das alles in einem Kopf passiert und man selber ist schon überfordert, wenn man irgendwie eine lange WhatsApp-Sprachnachricht beantworten muss oder so und sich 2 Minuten merken muss. Ich mache mir dann dabei immer so Notizen.
Ich bin gedanklich noch bei der Gartenmetapher, weil ich denke, welche Pflanzen gibt es? Sonnenblumen? Nein, das spielt Dünger eine Rolle. Ich bin froh, dass sie schreibt, nicht ich.
Ja, ich auch sehr. Aber ich habe jetzt gerade im Prinzip schon die perfekte Überleitung gemacht, weil wir wollen jetzt über Notizen sprechen ja tatsächlich. Bist du so ein Notizen-Typ? Schreibst du dir viel auf?
Ich habe meine Notizen-App. Robin! Und ich notiere mir häufig...
Was ihr nicht sehen könnt,
ach so, ja.
Da ist ein Mini. Er hat's euch gesagt. Aus.
Das ist tatsächlich ist aus. Ihr Bruder Henry, der ist leider verstorben.
Ach so.
Aber
du wolltest uns deine Notizen vorlesen.
Ah ja, stimmt. Notiz Nummer 1, nicht Henry erwähnen, das zieht alle runter. Mist. Nein, das stimmt nicht. Das war ihr Bruder. Und meine Notizen sind Sachen, die ich mir merken will. Das Problem ist, wenn man sich denkt, oh, das muss ich mir merken, das notiere ich mir schnell. Und dann eine Stunde später drauf guckt, ich habe keine Ahnung, woran mich das erinnern soll alles.
Ich glaube, das kennen wir alle.
Ich habe hier also auch teilweise Ideen.
Aber die echten, also, ne?
Das sind echte Notizen. Ja. Jetpack-Sanitäter. Okay, das sehe ich, das ist eine gute Idee.
Geiler Romantitel.
Keine Ahnung, woran mich die Ei-Theorie erinnern soll. Kontaktlinsen, Sonnenbrillen. Finde ich eine sehr gute Idee. Sonnenbrillen aber als Kontaktlinsen. Die Vogelei Augsburg.
Was?
Die Vogelei Augsburg.
Kennt ihr das?
Ist jemand von der Vogelei Augsburg anwesend?
Ehrlich? Du kommst von da?
Woran wollte ich mich da erinnern?
Ja, das könnt ihr ja später noch mal bilateral klären. Genau.
Ja, Johatsu. Ich weiß nicht mal, was für ein Wort das sein soll. Johatsu.
Das ist so witzig.
Es ist alles, ich habe keine Ahnung.
Vielleicht sieht das bei euch so ähnlich aus. Bei mir auf jeden Fall nicht so wild, aber meine Notizen-App ist auch sehr, sehr voll. Ich versuche auch immer mal wieder Notizbücher zu benutzen. Ihr nutzt doch bestimmt viel Notizbücher. Da können wir alle klatschen, die noch so richtig haptisch Notizbücher nutzen.
Ja.
Habe ich mir gedacht.
Diese wunderschönen, die es dann immer zu kaufen gibt.
Das ist so ein Notizbuch-Publikum hier.
Das klingt wie eine Beleidigung.
Nein, das ist was total Gutes. Ich versuche das immer wieder, aber bei mir ist halt das Ding, sobald die unordentlich werden, verliere ich den Spaß dran, weil ich dann denke, dann fange ich lieber ein neues an, mache das ordentlich, dann ist Seite 1 ordentlich, Seite 2 nicht mehr und dann ist es wieder weg. Aber, und was ich auch finde, die nehmen halt recht viel Platz weg.
Aber wenn wir eine Sache von der Person, die hier gleich zu Gast ist, lernen können, dann behaltet eure Notizbücher, denn die können richtig, richtig, richtig wertvoll werden. Zumindest, wenn ihr eine international erfolgreiche Sängerin seid. Sie kommt aus Norwegen. Sie hat 2015 mit ihrem Lied Runaway ihren Durchbruch gefeiert. Mittlerweile hat der Song Millionen von Streams. Es folgten Alben, Headliner-Touren, Chartplatzierungen und eben im vergangenen Jahr ein Lyricbuch mit Einblicken zum kreativen Prozess und ihrer Inspiration beim Schreiben. Hier ist sie.
Aurora, herzlich willkommen. Hello, welcome. You saw all the smartphones going up when you entered the room.
Oh.
Isn't that cool? Oh, I prepared something.
Oh.
Hyggelig å møte deg.
Oh my god, hyggelig å møte deg òg.
Was it okay?
Det means it was perfect.
It
Ganz
means-
perfekt.
Nice to meet you.
Ja, ich weiß.
Yeah, you know, 505 or 6 people maybe. No. And in German is schön euch zu treffen.
Schön euch zu
treffen.
treffen. Schön euch zu treffen. Danke.
Very good.
Dankeschön.
Okay, so we are done with the language class. We can
Yes,
get
but we
going.
always need to begin with one.
Yes,
It's very important. for me.
it's mandatory. So I think personally it's a very special book you've created. So
Thank you.
congratulations on that, first of all. And then we have to clarify, are those really your real notes you took, or did you remodel and redid them for the book?
No, these are the real notes. Because obviously I write, or for those who don't know, I'm an artist, so I sing.
I don't
and
think there's a
write.
single person here who does not know.
Yes, you don't know. Well, I write music and albums, and I like I wish for my music to be medicine for people. But my medicine is when I write it in the moment. But sometimes when I'm in deep need of medicine, the music I write then can be a bit more like painful. And I want to always, when I need medicine, I write into my notebook. So then when I've written the notebook, I feel like I can make the album as a more wise, more healed, more kind version of myself. And I feel like it's good for the music to pour my shit into there.
Yeah, but your shit,
And then-
your shit looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
So like I just told everyone my notebooks. We can show them. Let's show them a bit. So it's like, it's so beautiful, all those drawings. So you're very talented in that as
Oh,
well.
that's me.
We have your, yeah, and this is you.
Ooh, there.
Very beautiful. So it's so cool. Do you need a lot of order to be creative?
Well, yes, I kind of do, because when a new seed of an idea is in your head, because with me it's very fast. I just kind of wake up like, and then I'm like, oh my God, I know what the album is going to be. It's going to be called What Happened to the Heart, and it's going to be about all these things. And then I write all the titles of the songs before I make them. And I'm like, okay, I need to have all these kind of things into there. And it takes a lot of planning, I think, to make sure, because I don't like when the same things is being said too many times.
Okay.
And I don't like when an album is flat and you don't feel like you're traveling, you know, and it's
Kind
easier.
of minimalistic maybe in some way.
Minimalism can be good too,
Yes.
because it's so fragile and beautiful. But I just always want to make sure I get to say everything. I have one song for everything I want to say. And this book really helps me. What did you ask? What am I talking about?
I don't know. I'm listening. I'm like
Just in
like
awe.
in trance. No, on one of the first pages we learned that this title of the book,
Yeah.
which is also the title of the album, What Happened to the Heart, is a very important question for you. I quote, "The most important, beautiful and sad question I've ever wondered in my life." What is so special about that question for you?
Well, a lot of my album titles, they come from a mix of my fascination with philosophy, but also like history and maybe science, because all of those three things are kind of more tied together than we remember sometimes. They're all full of empathy and beauty and whatever word for this is, you know?
Yes, we know that
and,
very well.
And I was reading about kind of the meaning of our words, the meaning of people, the meaning of our body parts, how we see ourselves and how we have seen ourselves through history. And one thing that made me really sad was the meaning of the heart and what happened to it, because like the oldest, most ancient native cultures in this world have always explained, long before we knew about the heart, about the organ, about its purpose or shape, we knew that something comes from here. That's very important. It's not boobies, it's the heart. But
it's
they were
deeper.
like, yes,
Deeper
it's
behind
deeper,
the boobies,
or equally as important. But something really vital comes from here, and this we know. We call it the core. Is it love? Is it intuition? Is it emotion? Sadness can be felt here. And like we had this knowledge that this is important. It's like a spiritual center and like interconnected center for human beings. And after a while, the more we learned about anatomy and people and blah, 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 the more the heart was reduced to, through the philosophers actually of the ancient Greek empire, like they just reduced one by one through the times the heart to be something beautiful and meaningful and emotional, to simply a pump that pumps the blood through the body. And
like
that's
a machine.
It. Yes, and I thought that surely represents something more, that we think about ourselves on the inside like this now, so like medicinal and hard instead of as magical as it is. And I just wanted to, it just bothered me so much. So I made an album about it.
Simple as that. Wow. So sorry, like 2 weeks, I had an album. Simple as that. So is diving deep into really complex things something that happens a lot of time in your daily life?
Well, yes, I think it's a bit boring to not do it. And I feel it more and more, especially as I grow older. I like to go really deep into things. I like to worry about things, to talk to my friends. I like to surround myself more and more with people who also want to look out in the world, be emotional, political, be engaged. Like I find it just more and more as I live that's actually so important to me, the dealing with your own things and being just a human and zoning out sometimes, which God I do a lot, but also to be very in touch with things, because I feel like it's very easy for us to forget, because it's so painful sometimes to be in touch with all of it all the time, especially now.
But it's also what makes us
important.
Human.
And you already talked about you studying the anatomy of the human body. I just want to show one page, like the 4th or 5th page. It's all about the heart.
I don't remember this. I haven't seen the book since I wrote it. Yes.
No, it's so beautiful. And the last sentence on this page about the heart is, let our heart lead us. Is this kind of a core point of the album and the book, or what would it be?
Well, yes, I think so, because what I think is, like, except for like the world being built on so much pain, oppression, like mishandling of people, a huge gender gap in who gets to have power and be heard and have respect in this world, except for all of that, that's already there boiling under us. one thing that I really think is making the world a very sad place to be sometimes is that we run the world based on logic and politics and money and greed, which is so cliche to say, but it's so true, so sadly. And I just feel like we have completely forgotten about what is what's bigger than our empires, if that's the thing that is ruining the world, the health of it, the health of all of us. So it's just like, it's political too, that I miss so much that we had more heart in the way we chose our path as people, as nations. And I think there was a letter written by indigenous and activists all around the world in 2022 called "We Are the Earth." And as you know, if you scramble the word heart, it becomes earth. Which is, I think it's really fun because I love anagrams. But and I love that letter.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, and they
notice. Yeah,
do it in my head, but yeah, it checks out.
I'm always right.
Checks out.
She's always right.
Yes.
I'm gonna fact check it with the.
Yes.
Yeah, it checks out. That's right.
But it's a beautiful letter. And you have to read it. It's on the internet. Read it before it's erased. It's so beautiful. Just asking the world to act more with compassion.
What I liked so much about that book was that we learn all those things, like very complex, philosophical questions, but we learn also some things about you. Are you stretching a little?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I'm in flying.
Yeah. We do it standing? the
Well,
interview, or fine?
I can't. My shirt is very
Okay, yeah.
short.
No, but what I think is very beautiful that we learn some things about you as well as a person, because on one page you say, I love armor and teeth and organs. This does not mean I'm creepy. Is that one of your concerns, that people could think you're creepy?
No, that's a statement.
Point. No, and even sometimes being creepy, meaning like being not like everyone else, isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I think so. And that's been the best gift I've gotten after the kind of curseful path of life, to be kind of famous sometimes, but also not. But the gift of it is that everyone that knows my music are so respectful and cool people, and so like me as well.
But
and
what is the curseful part for you in being famous?
Just like I don't think people are meant to be so, have so much small talk. And when you, but when you meet
that.
but when you meet people for like 20 seconds,
Hi, how are you?
and you want to say more, but then you can't because it's so short.
Yeah, you can't come in with like, are you afraid of death? Bye.
But you can, you know. Who's dead in your family? Tell me, who's dying? But like it's like a weird way of meeting people I would like to meet deeper, you know.
So maybe next time you say, hi, what happened to the heart?
Oh,
Yeah.
Seems to be a great small talk question.
If you're in the elevator,
Like
someone
when
else.
you get your period.
So I learned about you that you learned to play piano at the age of 6 and
Yes.
wrote your first songs in English at 9, and English is not your birth language. So what was it about music, and English music, obviously, that was fascinating you in such a young age?
Well, I think it made, because I was, and I'm still deep in there somewhere, quite a sensitive child and very fragile, which I know many here can relate to, which makes us so strong and so powerful as well, because you learn to be a warrior for yourself and others when you know how it is to struggle a bit. Anyways, I felt really like I didn't have any skin when I sang in Norwegian. And when I sang in English or wrote in English, I felt like I could build skin and
Like an
clothes.
armor?
No, because it's not for war purposes or
Okay.
protection. It's simply
protecting?
Just the bare minimum. And when I wrote in English, I just felt like I'm a bit more protected now.
Another thing I have learned about you is that at one point in your past years, I don't know exactly when, you decided to spend some time living wilder than you usually did.
Yes, I really did.
So what did you do and what were you hoping for by doing this?
This is not an advice. My
Maybe
choices were mine.
So what did you do?
I just started drinking.
Oh my God, okay, so it is not an advice.
No, I started allowing myself to be less worried, I guess, about my choices. I didn't feel too bad if I was up too late. I didn't feel bad for not answering back my friend immediately or my family. Or like I gave myself more time to be a bit like less worried about everything else around me, but simply just do what I feel like.
Was it freedom?
Yeah.
Feeling of freedom?
I guess so. Freedom and like dealing with emotions a bit more like, I gave myself a year.
A year?
To be like, yeah.
Okay.
To be a
the
bit
wild
like,
year of Aurora.
Yeah, to be a bit wild and a bit like, and with wild, I just mean not like cuddle myself, which I do a lot. I'm like, oh, I feel sad. I should write something. I should be really good to myself. I'm really good at being really good and gentle with myself. But like, yeah, that's good.
It's very important.
But I tried 1 year
and
to be a bit less.
And was it life-changing?
Yes, in a way, because it was what I needed then. Because I had a recent new amount of sadness into my life that came very abruptly on me. And it was like, oh, now I have this new addition of sadness that is now a part of me. I can't just let that go. I have to now carry that until it doesn't become bigger than me, but just a part, because we become bigger. But I feel like sometimes the sadness stays the same size. It's just we who grow. And I just gave myself a year to just do the things that made being sad okay.
I found so many quotes in your book. One about sadness that I liked very much is, some of the saddest people I know are happy all the time.
Yeah.
So at what point does happiness switch into something negative?
Well, I think when we expect that life is about finding happiness and being happy, when it can also be about both finding sadness and finding happiness in hopefully a balanced amount of times in your life, and then in between just be content. You know, it doesn't have to be amazing or perfect all the time. Sometimes I just like when life is, well, I feel okay. You know, I've eaten, I slept, I am here, and that's really cool, because that is very hard for many people, you know, in this life. And I guess when you learn to be happy with being content, then something happens with both the happiness and the sadness, that they're both more appreciated and they become more magical. Or to me at least. I don't know if this works, but for me it works a lot to find just that it's okay for life to be just life also sometimes.
That makes sense.
Like everyone, Tarkan is listening all the time.
Yeah, I'm always factoring. Yeah, it checks out. Avoiding sadness is not the same thing as being happy. She's right. I'm like, yeah, wait, it's actually.
I tell you, it's really, if you like those like mind-blowing sentences, very small. Like sometimes you have a page with a small painting and one sentence, and you're like, okay, one sentence on a page, not that much. And then you read it and you're like spending 10 minutes on that page thinking about that. So it's really cool and very special. Do we have a question on the?
Yes,
Bitte schön. What is Dankeschön in Norwegian?
Tak.
Tak.
Tak. Oh, we had
Tak.
that. It's
Tak.
like Danish. We had that yesterday with
tak.
Jussi Adler-Olsen.
Yeah.
Tak.
It's like the first
so
syllable of my name.
Yeah. What?
Takan.
Yes,
Takan.
true.
It's Takan.
You're such a grateful person. Just in general.
I am right now.
From birth.
If you could write the soundtrack for one book, which one and why?
Let me think. No, it's oh my God. I would love if Patrick Rothfuss, and yes, this is a threat, if you don't finish the third book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, I'm gonna...
Yes!
Yes!
We had them here.
Yes, we had him here 3 years ago, or
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah.
I know it takes time and it's okay, but please finish them because I love them and I want to make the music. I know how to play the lute. I learned it because of course.
Oh, maybe that was always his plan.
Yes? Very good.
Maybe he's playing...
So,
Maybe he's playing 3D chess. Like he was like, I'm not gonna finish it because I think I can get more out of if I don't finish it. And now, if that's not motivation enough for you,
so
Patrick,
maybe next year for Bookstock we mix you two up.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I can
yeah,
hang
like wing
on
women.
him like a backpack.
While we're at it, shall we threaten George R. R. Martin as well? Just,
That could be amazing.
Yeah.
I almost
maybe-
did a thing for Game of Thrones back in the day, but then I forgot to, because I'm very hardworking, but I'm also lazy when I'm done with my work. So they were like, if you can do like a new version of this song of All Is Soft Inside, you can be on one of the episodes. I was like, oh, but I have a time off now.
But you already
And
started.
we didn't do it.
You were the voice, so the voice in the head of Elsa in
Yes,
Frozen 2.
I made her crazy, didn't I? That
Oh
movie.
my
Yes.
God. So what is your next big goal? Because next year you will celebrate your 30th birthday.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God. Is it a big one for you? Is it like scary?
The
or
birthday? Oh
yes?
no, I love becoming older. I cannot wait. I feel like I'm absolutely delighted. And I'm gonna have a beautiful
Party?
celebration. Yes.
Yes, a big one or a small one?
No,
Are you trying to
a
get
small.
invited?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, a really small one. You can all come, obviously.
Oh, perfect.
As long as you like swimming.
Okay, that's mixed. That's the best ending this talk could ever get. Thank you very much for being here and only the best. Very inspiring. Thank you. Aurora.
Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you so much. You're so good. Okay, this is work.
Wow.
Ja, Patrick, the pressure is on.
Boah, das war irgendwie intensiv, oder?
Auf jeden Fall. Und falls ihr gerade im Stream zuguckt, und mit ihr meine ich dich, Patrick, und The Pressure spürt, vergesst nicht zu kommentieren. Denn zum einen, ihr habt es gesehen, checken wir die Kommentare und stellen Fragen, die eben im Chat gestellt werden. Und außerdem nehmt ihr automatisch am Gewinnspiel teil, den Hugendubel verlost unter jedem, der im Stream kommentiert, nämlich einen Gutschein. Ja. Patrick, Robin.
Nächstes Jahr, wir haben Robin schon gesagt, nächstes Jahr, der muss mal ein Buch schreiben, dass wir ihn mal einladen können, hier ein bisschen tiefer mit ihm einsteigen können in so Themen, die ihn so beschäftigen, weil wenn er schon Applaus kriegt, wenn er nur Wasser bringt.
Aber hallo, wie er Wasser bringt, Entschuldigung.
Ja, und er hat die
Applauswürdig.
Brandschutzverordnung hier verlesen, aber in Perfektion.
Ja, vor der Aufzeichnung. Das habt ihr im Stream leider nicht
Ja,
mitbekommen.
das stimmt.
Aber
Im
ja.
Stream braucht ihr die auch nicht hören, das stimmt.
Ja.
Wir haben jetzt, also wir waren gerade schon beim Stream, wir haben deine Notizen gelesen, wir sind hier heute very digital unterwegs und natürlich ist Bookstock das ja in general. Mein Kopf ist
Du denkst
mixed
noch
up,
über die
Languages.
Sätze.
Ja, nein, Deutsch und Englisch fließt da durcheinander. Jedes Mal, wenn wir hier im Team bei Bookstock erfahren, wie das Line-Up aussieht und dann diese ersten Announcements, mein Gott, Ankündigungen kommen. You know, I'm already dreaming in English. Dann geht da richtig, richtig was ab. Ihr flippt immer aus, weil natürlich die Menschen, die wir einladen, wahnsinnig viele Fans haben. Aber in diesem Jahr gab es eine Ankündigung. Da war wirklich, da brach die Hölle los bei Insta. Wir haben ein paar Kommentare rausgekriegt. Also es ist jetzt die richtige Reihenfolge. Und vielleicht liest du sie so vor, wie du denkst, dass die Person das ausgesprochen hätte, was sie da geschrieben hat.
No way. Den
Nein.
habe ich geschrieben, deswegen
Ach
habe ich
so.
es in meiner Stimme. No way. Ich kann nicht aufhören zu schreien. Hört ihr mich kreischen? Ihr seid doch echt die krassesten.
Sehr gut, weiter.
Ich flipp aus. OMG, ich kann's nicht glauben. OMG, ich sterbe.
Okay.
OMG, ich muss dahin. Und mit dem Kommentar wird, glaube ich, klar, wer gleich kommt. Mother Murphy is coming!
Also, ich fasse das Ganze, also erstmal sehr, sehr gut gemacht. Ich fasse das Ganze nochmal zusammen. Da war eine kleine Freude am Start, als ihr erfahren habt, wer dabei sein wird hier in diesem Jahr. Sie ist hergekommen, hat Santa Monica in California mal kurz gegen München eingetauscht für ein paar Tage. Ihr Erfolg ist mittlerweile einfach irre. Das Time Magazine hat sie bezeichnet als eine der besten Young Adult Autorinnen aller Zeiten, was ein wahnsinniger Ritterschlag ist. 2011 ging alles los bei ihr. Da hat sie ihr erstes Buch Shatter Me veröffentlicht. Seitdem hat sie mehr als 10 Romane rausgebracht, ist officially Global Bestselling Author und in wenigen Tagen erscheint bei uns der 4. Band ihrer Reihe This Woven Kingdom. Herzlich willkommen, Tahereh Mafi! Have you here? Welcome. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Yes, very good. So it got very loud here. Is this huge fame something you got used to over the years, or is it still crazy and weird maybe sometimes?
Oh, I don't think that there's any huge fame.
No? No, at all. Mm-mm.
I think they're all very kind.
Yes, nobody knows
sweet.
you. So,
You're not, like when you walk down the street, you don't hear people yelling, Mother Murphy is coming!
No, it's not like that. No, not quite.
Just online.
Yeah, I mean, people sometimes will stop me in public, but
yes, for sure.
They don't usually scream.
In your face. Only online.
Yeah, most of the time they don't.
But when Shatter Me was published, was like 2011.
Yes.
You were in your early 20s.
Yes.
A phase in life where we normally, or a lot of people are wild, maybe do some dumb things, feel freedom, and are looking for a path in life. How settled were you back then?
I mean, I think I did plenty of dumb things in my early 20s.
For example?
Well, like I came to Switzerland in my early 20s.
That's stupid.
Oh. I knew.
I'm just kidding.
But I knew nothing about skiing, and I decided to go skiing for the very first time on the Swiss Alps. And I almost died.
It looks so easy, right? But it's not.
Me and my friends showed up in jeans. We had no
high
gear.
Heels.
Yeah, no, I mean, we went to go rent some skis, and the man who rented us our equipment, I mean, bless his heart, he was very kind. He was like, before you go out there, I need to make sure you know how to stop.
Like you have to
do the pizza slice.
Saved our lives, I swear. We almost fell right off the cliff.
Okay. But then the book came out, and was it clear from that moment on that that would be your path in life?
I'm not sure I'm ever at a place to assume I know exactly what's going to happen for the rest of my life. I think sometimes it's the height of hubris to assume you know exactly where you're going all the time. But I certainly hoped that that would be the path for me. But you know, when I started out, to answer your question even more sincerely, in my early 20s, when I knew I wanted to pursue publication, there was no safety net for me. It was sink or swim. I either had to make it or find another path. And I was working full time while I was trying to get published. So I kept my day job, and I worked, you know, at night, in the early morning, like anytime I could get. But there was no option for failure. It was just either make it or divert.
And then the success grew, and with the success, the curiosity of the people, who is the person behind the books. There are a lot of interviewers, and how did you manage to find the balance between this is my personal life, this is me, this is something I want to keep for me and my private self, and this is something that can go out, or was it not that easy?
It's been an interesting learning experience because in my early 20s, especially when you're so excited, you know, you're so happy, so grateful to have the opportunity to write the book and to be published. You say yes to everything. And sometimes you forget that the internet is forever. And so I made a lot of silly videos, you know, about like how to open a pomegranate, or, you know, like, I don't know.
That is very useful.
Maybe you've seen these videos. But, right, but it was like somehow related to reading my book. I don't even remember the inception of it, but it's, over time, I learned to say no or pull back, protect my peace. But now it's even more, I wouldn't say complicated, but it makes it more of a concern for me, protecting my privacy because of my daughter.
Yes.
I want to be very careful how much of my life I put out there for her sake.
I think you do very well, because I couldn't find a lot of like very private facts about you online. But what I know is that you are, for example, the youngest of 5 children in your family, so the last sibling.
I have 4 older brothers.
And how was that?
Yes, I was, well, a lot of people think as the youngest child and as the only girl that I was probably very spoiled. I was not. My brothers definitely taught me how to fight, though.
But so, did this constellation make you stronger?
Ultimately, yes. We're very close now.
So you have a strong family bond?
Yes, very much.
Do your brothers read your books?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Occasionally. Okay. It depends on the book. The kissing scenes make them very uncomfortable.
Of course, but that is normal.
They're
right?
like, I skipped that part. I didn't really look at it.
And your parents, they came from Iran to the US, so you grew up with the Muslim and the Persian cultures and rituals. How important are those today in your daily life still?
Very important.
Like routines and things you took from your past till today?
In my personal life? Oh yeah, absolutely. Very important. I mean, I'm steeped in that. All of those experiences informed who I am today, and some of the books that I write.
Yes, we can find some of those roots in your books, like this Woven Kingdom, for example, is inspired by Persian and Islamic culture as well. What were the aspects while researching, while plotting, while finding the story that were the most fascinating and interesting for you in that part?
So the Woven Kingdom series is inspired by Persian mythology, specifically with regard to the Shahnameh, which is this epic work of Persian poetry by the very famous Ferdowsi, really renowned poet. And it's something like 60,000 rhyming couplets, really, really epic, really beautiful, very well known. I grew up hearing many of these stories from my own parents, from many people I knew. So I wanted to draw inspiration from something that was as important to Persian culture as Shakespeare might be to many, Western cultures. And so that was really fun. It was a lot like dipping into a secret past, something that was a little bit lesser known, especially in the Western world. But the rest of the book is saturated with and steeped in so many of the sensory experiences that I had growing up. The rest of it is fake. Most of it is fake. It's all fiction. It's made up. The language in the book is made up. But it feels like saffron and rose water and tea and Persian rugs and marble arches. It's sort of supposed to be this all-encompassing sensory experience that reminds me of the textures of home.
I watched some shows you were in and read the comment section. And in every comment section, under every video you're in, you find young women writing things about you representing something for them, representing Persian women. They are not very well represented in TV shows, and that they were always desperate for someone like you. Very, very touching and very, very cool. When you were young, did you have someone, an author maybe, you could like look up to in that range?
Like a Persian author?
Yeah, yes, maybe, or something.
In the Western world, no. I didn't. I mean, if they did exist, I wasn't aware of them. But I didn't have that. You know, I grew up without any mirrors. I actually didn't meet another young woman who looked anything like me until I was 14. So I grew up very isolated from my own communities, or communities that might include people who looked like me, which, you know, definitely helped build out the traumatic experiences that now fuel my fiction. I like to say that, like, you know, this is my therapy. But it's, in some ways, it's very helpful because I mine those experiences when I come back to story. And I find that the older I get, the more obvious I become to myself. The themes in my work become more obvious. And I tend to write about, you know, I always tend to focus on young women who begin in a position of powerlessness despite owning inherent power. And I would like to take them on that journey of self-discovery. And I think so much of that is probably inspired by experiences I had when I was young.
And when you reread Shatter Me now, more than, like, what is it, nearly 15 years later, do you feel like you grew as an author and changed something in your style or the way you work? Is it obvious for you while reading the text from back then?
Oh, absolutely. I really hope I'm a better author today than I was 15 years ago. It would be hard if there were no progress. I would definitely consider that a personal failure. But I also change the way that I write depending on the story I'm telling. Each book I write has a different prose style. So the writing in Shatter Me is very specific to its main character, Juliet, who, when we meet Juliet at the beginning of the story, she's been in prison for almost a year, and she's on the brink of insanity. She's been in complete isolation. And the writing is very chaotic, hyperbolic, highly metaphorical. She writes things down and crosses them out, writes things down and crosses them out. There's a lot of repetition.
It's very poetic.
Self-censorship,
yes.
a lot of, it's sort of, yeah, it's like a mix of prose and verse in some ways. And it's very specific to her because as she grows, the prose changes with her. It calms and quiets as she grows into herself. In the Woven Kingdom series, it's told from like a third-person past perspective in a very fairy tale style. My middle grade novels sort of break the fourth wall. The narrator will speak directly to the audience or the reader. So every book is told differently depending on what it needs to service the characters.
Okay, some things changed in comparison to 2011, but is the way you find inspiration, for example, for specific characters still the same?
Yeah, I think for the most part, I tend to find myself drawn, as I said, over and over to some of the same themes. I always begin a book with characters first, because if I don't understand the emotional heart of a story, I have no interest in telling it. So I have to know the heart first. And that usually, almost always, begins with character. But at the end of the day, I think that most, if not all, of the books that I write are stories about oppression and injustice and inequality told through a lens of love. It's always about giving pain meaning.
Speaking of love, there's especially one character that you created that moves a lot of readers. There were and are tons of Reddit threads and discussions all over the internet about a certain Aaron Warner. So, were you surprised by his huge fame, or did you anticipate that while writing?
Oh, I could never have guessed.
No?
Not in a million years.
Aren't you a huge fan of Aaron Warner?
Of course. But my tastes tend to be singular. I didn't realize so many of you agreed with me. It's been really fun.
Yes.
It's been really fun. It's so cute. I genuinely, I have so much affection for the readers who love these characters and love these stories. I'm honored to be a part of your community, really.
Some days ago, I personally ended up in a very, very deep Aaron Warner rabbit hole. It's so fun. I can recommend to everyone. And of course, you have mostly girls wondering...
At least one boy.
Like writing about how much they love him, wondering how he would be in bed or what actor looks like him. I read all of that. But then there was one specific thread. It was so funny. A girl was wondering how Aaron Warner would feel about yogurt. Yeah, I laughed as well, but she started a very serious discussion in this thread. People were like, yes, he would be mad about Greek yogurt. And others were like, no, Greek, no, not Greek. Maybe natural yogurt, but with granola. I swear, I read that with my own eyes. So could you please, for those people, could you tell them...
Yeah, what kind of yogurt does he like?
What kind of yogurt does he like?
What's his stance on soy yogurt?
I don't think he would like sweet yogurt. So maybe you guys are onto something with
Respectfully, I have to disagree.
Yeah, maybe. Granola? No, but...
I don't know if he'd like the granola.
It's too much,
like
maybe.
Plain yogurt,
yeah.
Maybe. I really have to go think about it.
Yeah. Take some time. You find the thread on Reddit. You can just...
No, I don't.
No, but do you follow some stuff on the internet going on about your worlds?
No. I do not blur the lines at all. I mean, sometimes people will deliver me the information. And then, I'm like, oh, okay, I've been invited to participate. And that's okay. But I try to respect reader spaces as much as possible. I want you to be able to feel exactly the way that you want to feel. Good, bad, everything in between. And I don't want you to feel like someone's watching you. So it's your safe space. I actually identify more as a reader than I do as a writer because I am a lifelong reader. I started as a reader. I've been reading for longer than I've been writing. And if I had to choose between reading for the rest of my life and writing for the rest of my life, I'd choose reading. So I understand what it's like to be a reader, and I really want to respect that space.
Don't worry, she's
still writing. She's still writing. You had to tell them.
People in the audience were like, oh no, she's not
reading.
She's gonna choose. It's a theoretical, it's not a real scenario.
Hypothetically.
Do we have some questions
of course.
Online?
So, circling back to the yogurt. No. Do you have a personal favorite character from your books?
All of the books?
Yes.
It's hard to say because usually the characters I feel most presently connected to are the ones I'm actively writing about. And right now, I would say Cyrus from the Woven Kingdom series is maybe... Thank you. A little love for Cyrus. He is a very interesting tortured character. If you like tortured male heroes, I mean, he's maybe one of my...
He's your man.
I'm a big fan. He really goes through it. But also, I'm really having a lot of fun writing James from In Watch Me.
I think you could drop any name. Everyone is wooing all the time.
Yeah, they're all really fun.
Talking about developing or maybe plotting, do you have different approaches for different books? For example, did you plot Shatter Me, the series, differently than the Woven Kingdom?
I think to some degree, yes. In many ways, yes, because as many of you probably know, originally the Shatter Me series was 3 books, and then it became 6 books, and then there were a bunch of novellas, and then another novella, and now there's a new series.
Oopsie.
So, I mean, a lot of that was because I was a brand new writer. I was so lucky that I was allowed to write 1 book. I didn't know how many books they would let me write. So I got a contract for 3, and I was like, yes, okay, I get to write 3 books. And then when they let me write more, I was like, yes, I would love to write more. But if I had known from the beginning that I would be allowed to write so many books, I would have approached it from a different perspective. With the Woven Kingdom series, I knew from a much earlier point in time that I would be able to write 5 books in that series. So plotting it was a little bit different.
So in some days, your new book will be published here in Germany. It's the 4th part of this Woven Kingdom. For all the fans of this series, what is special about this book number 4?
Okay, so I won't give away too much because I'm sure many of you have not read all of the books in the series thus far. But I will say that it's been about 5 years since the first book came out. And I have waited many years as a writer to be able to write some of the scenes in this book, because this is the book where you get a lot of revelations, there's a lot of plot resolution. Not everything is resolved. There's still another book to come, but it was really satisfying for me as a writer to reach that moment where I get to have some of this resolution on the page. And to finally reveal some secrets that I had been holding on to for years.
Okay, so we will have that in some days here in Germany. Last question. Last question, you already announced that there will be a surprise in 2027. We want to... So that was... You didn't?
Well, it wouldn't be a surprise if you would.
It wouldn't be a surprise if you didn't do it. So, someone told me, you have to ask her. She revealed there will be a huge surprise in 2027.
Maybe you got it backwards. The person wanted to surprise you.
Yes, maybe it's that.
I said that there was going to be a surprise in 2027?
Yes.
Well, we'll check back in 2027.
Think of something.
No. Okay, no surprise in 2027.
Was this person specific? Did they tell you what it was?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was...
It was me.
It was Tarkan.
No.
No, it was a person that knows the book world. I don't know if she wants to...
It's Patrick Rothfuss.
No, exactly. So no surprise in 2027.
Well, look out, maybe 2027 will surprise you.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
But thank you very much. We are looking forward to everything that's coming. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Geil. Und Tarkan, du hast doch gesagt, 2029 soll es bei dir eine große Überraschung geben, oder?
Bei mir?
Ja, wurde mir gesagt.
2029?
Wir müssen unsere Quellen noch mal checken.
Also ich werde mehr Katzen, aber das ist, glaube ich, keine Überraschung von niemandem.
Stopp. Nein. Zu den Katzen kommen wir jetzt nicht zurück. Aber ich habe die perfekte Überleitung.
Ja.
Wir reden später nochmal über ein Mini-Kennsack.
Ob ihr wollt oder nicht.
Ich habe die perfekte Überleitung jetzt zu unseren nächsten Gästen. Weil als ich da so abgetaucht bin in mein Aaron Warner Rabbit Hole, bin ich in ganz viele so Foren und Fanseiten abgedriftet, die dann auch eben darüber diskutiert haben, wer könnte Aaron Warner als Schauspieler verkörpern. Und das waren alles so Threads aus den USA und auf einmal taucht dann ein Gesicht auf und ich war so, kenne ich, so aus Deutschland. Wer war's?
Yours truly, Mr. Fantasy. Nein, ich kann mir denken, wer es sein könnte.
Ja, es war natürlich Damian Hardung, den dann wirklich irgendwelche US-Girls auf dem Schirm haben, plötzlich für so einen berühmten Charakter,
Ja,
was ja auch einfach nicht so oft vorkommt, dass Menschen in Deutschland dann so viral auch international gehen.
Ja, das passiert selten, wobei mit dem Aufkommen von Streaming-Plattformen, wo ja dann Serien auch auf 10, 15, 20 Sprachen übersetzt werden und überall ausgestrahlt werden, passiert es halt immer öfter. Und über die Serie, über die wir gleich sprechen, da ist das auch passiert. Die ist nicht nur in Deutschland bekannt, sondern weltweit und so auch die Menschen, die in ihr spielen.
2018 hat alles angefangen mit einem Buch, was in den Buchläden gelandet ist und das die Autorin hinter diesen Büchern wirklich zum absoluten Shootingstar in der deutschen Romance-Szene gemacht hat. Es war der erste Teil der Save Me-Reihe von Mona Kasten und mittlerweile ist sie nicht nur der absolute Superstar in der deutschen Romance-Buchszene, sondern auch in der internationalen Serienwelt, weil im vergangenen Mai die Serie zu diesen Büchern offiziell gestartet ist.
Gestartet ist fast schon Underselling. Durchgestartet. Genau. Ein Riesenerfolg. Es gab keine andere deutsche Serie als Amazon Prime Original, die international so erfolgreich war, wie eben die erste Staffel zu MACHT. Das liegt unter anderem an der Story, aber eben auch an den Menschen in dieser Geschichte, wie zum Beispiel Damian Hardung, aber nicht nur der.
Ja, also große Love Story, die dann natürlich im Zentrum steht der Geschichte, auch in der Serie, aber eben auch nicht nur. Der Cast ist groß. Was wäre die Geschichte ohne zum Beispiel Amber, die Schwester von Ruby, der Hauptfigur? Was wäre die Geschichte ohne die tollen Freunde von James um ihn herum? Und auch das Leben der Menschen, die diese Rollen verkörpern, hat sich komplett verändert, seit diese Serie auf, ich habe nochmal nachgeguckt, Platz 1 war in 120 Ländern weltweit. Das ist so verrückt, darüber wollen wir jetzt sprechen. Und natürlich über Staffel 2, die in wenigen Tagen rauskommt. Versuchen wir es nochmal gleichzeitig.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Herzlich willkommen. Wir machen es nochmal.
Mit wem fangen wir an? Okay. Herzlich willkommen, Runa Greiner, Ben Felipe und Justus Riesner.
Hi.
Hallo.
Oh Gott.
Schön, dass ihr, guck mal, wir stellen hier die wunderschönen
Eine richtig schöne Ausgabe, ja.
Hin. Die sehen so richtig, ich finde, die sehen so richtig schön herbstlich aus. Ich habe mich quasi angezogen heute wie diese Bücher.
Ja, das passt sehr gut.
Ja?
Stimmt. Ja, it's a match.
Mich inspirieren lassen, ja.
Ich habe ich habe eine blaue Unterhose an, aber das kann ich jetzt
Das Shirt passt
aber das
auch.
passt doch hier, guck mal.
Ah ja, stimmt.
Perfekt.
Ach, schau an.
Das andere auch.
Ja?
Das ist rot.
Leute,
Die Schuhe sind braun.
hallo?
Egal.
Okay, ohne es zu merken,
Full Circle Moment.
ich bin quasi diese 3 Bücher.
Ja, ihr 3, herzlichen Glückwunsch erstmal zu allem, was war bei euch so. Seit ein paar Tagen ist der Trailer zu Staffel 2 draußen. Gucken wir uns natürlich gleich auch noch mal zusammen an hier. Erstmal wollen wir aber ein bisschen was über euch und eure Konstellation rausfinden. Nehmt uns doch mal mit. Also wie gut kennt ihr euch? Klingt jetzt nach einer richtig flachen Frage, aber ich glaube, wir wissen das alle nicht so, wie sehr ihr euch auch so überschnitten habt an euren Drehtagen und so. Wie close seid ihr? Wie sehr habt ihr euch gefreut, als ihr wusstet, ihr 3 sitzt hier jetzt zusammen auf diesem Sofa?
Ich war sehr froh, dass ich die beiden mit mir hier habe. Ich würde, also vor allem, wie wir hier sitzen, sind wir schon sehr close. Und ich würde schon auch sagen, wir kennen uns ziemlich gut. Ich habe ja tatsächlich nicht ganz so viele Überschneidungspunkte mit allen anderen und mit Maxon Hall, der Schule an sich und mit den Leuten, die da zur Schule gehen, weil Amber ja auf eine andere Schule geht. Aber das hat uns auch nicht davon aufgehalten, dass wir Freunde geworden sind.
Ja,
Voll.
wir haben viel nach dem Drehen auch gemacht immer so, ne? Und da entstehen halt viele Freundschaften und ja, die sind halt geblieben.
Wie ist das denn bei den Drehtagen? Also, wenn man das guckt, dann passiert natürlich alles chronologisch, aber es wird ja wild durcheinander gedreht. Wie viel Überschneidung gibt es da wirklich? Arbeitet ihr richtig viel zusammen oder ist es dann
Ja, ihr zwei ja wahrscheinlich schon, weil ihr in einer Freundesklicke seid.
Genau, wir
ja,
beide
oder ist es dann wie eine
viel.
Greenscreen, das ist so
Ja, genau.
was da passiert?
Wer ist da auf der anderen Seite? Nee,
Nee, also es ist halt schon, mit Runa habe ich jetzt, ich glaube, wir hatten keinen Drehtag zusammen oder einmal.
Ihr habt euch auf der Premiere dann gesehen.
Ja, da haben wir uns dann
Ja,
kennengelernt.
man sieht sich dann tatsächlich entweder privat am meisten oder halt eben auf Events oder irgendwelchen Presseterminen oder so. Ja.
wir haben gedacht, wir machen das mal so hier mit euch, weil irgendwie haben wir in diesem Jahr sonst haben wir immer Spiele eingebaut, haben wir in diesem Jahr gar nicht gemacht. Jetzt haben wir gedacht, ihr drei seid hier, jetzt machen wir ein Spiel. Und zwar
kennt ihr Strip-Poker?
Ja, genau.
Ja.
Ich wollte sagen, kennt ihr Sudoku und du kommst mit Strip-Poker. Das sind unsere beiden
Strip oder Poker meinst du jetzt? So.
Nein, wir möchten rausfinden, wie gut ihr euch kennt. Und zwar wird es jetzt ein kleines Wer würde am ehesten Sätze Spiel geben. Und ihr zeigt aufeinander. Okay?
Aber nicht überlegen, nicht nach links und rechts
einfach
gucken.
zack,
Ihr hört die Frage, ihr müsst direkt zeigen.
Aber auf so 3.
Ja, also ich lese vor und Tag abwechseln und dann zeigt
Ja, okay,
ihr,
ich kann auf 3 zählen.
Müssen wir es dann auch begründen oder können wir einfach nur zeigen?
Nee, das wird schön begründet. Auf jeden Fall. Also nur zeigen ist hier nicht. Also, wer würde am ehesten
Gott, ich bin aufgeregt.
zu spät ans Set kommen?
1, 2, 3, zeigen! Oh, okay, alles klar.
Bin ich aber noch nie.
Bist du noch nie, aber du
am
würdest.
ehesten, weil die sind halt immer sehr pünktlich.
Aber
deswegen.
bist du so der undisziplinierteste von allen? Oder? Ja, aber wenn alle direkt hinzeigen, also muss das ja einen Grund haben.
Nee, aber ich glaube, ich bin so der. Bin ich undiszipliniert?
Nee.
Ich würde sagen, nee. Also mir wurde heute gesagt, oder nicht heute, aber mir wurde letztens gesagt, dass ich immer einen sehr aufgeräumten Trailer, also da, wo wir quasi unsere Klamotten und so hinräumen, dass ich die mal schön zusammenlege und so.
Ich glaube, nach außen wirkst
nach
du eher
außen
so ein
hin, genau.
bisschen, aber eigentlich bist du
so eine Fassade.
Ah ja, okay.
Ach, diese Trailer, das sind diese Wohnwagen
Wo wir
quasi.
drin warten quasi immer, weil man spielt ja verschiedene Szenen.
So.
Ich glaube, das hat man auch nicht auf dem Schirm. Ein Großteil des Jobs ist wahrscheinlich viel warten, bis irgendwie das Licht...
Der Großteil. Man wartet mehr, als dass man...
Naja.
Und was macht ihr da so?
lesen.
Ah, richtige Antwort.
Das ist die Frage.
Ein Punkt für Justus.
Okay, weiter geht's.
Wer von euch würde am ehesten während einer emotionalen Szene anfangen zu lachen? 1, 2, 3, go! Okay.
2:1.
Ich glaube auch, ich kenne euch jetzt nicht so gut, aber ich bin auch eher bei dir. Hast du schon mal in einer Szene, die emotional war?
Bei mir oder bei ihm?
Bei dir.
Bei mir?
Ich auch.
Ja. Also so beim Drehen? Ja.
Hast du da mal auch irgendwie eine Szene kaputt gemacht dadurch?
Nein.
Kaputt machen. Aber musst du den nochmal neu machen, weil du Damian Hartmann ins Gesicht gelacht hast?
Man muss ja immer mal was dann neu machen und manchmal ist es dann auch das Licht. Nee, mir passiert das schon manchmal, dass ich so kleine Lachanfälle am Set habe. Und wenn ich dann einmal anfange, dann fällt es mir schwer, wieder aufzuhören. Aber ich weiß gar nicht, ob es in der emotionalen Szene schon mal passiert ist.
Oh, da könnte ich mich aber nicht zusammenreißen. Ich glaube, wenn wir zusammen drehen würden, ich würde immer versuchen, dich zum Lachen zu bringen.
Das ist eben das Gute, dass ich den beiden auch nicht so oft
Dass du dir nicht so oft begegnest.
Weil ich glaube, wenn ich mit Ben ich könnte nicht.
Ich bin undiszipliniert, man kann nicht mit mir drehen.
Nein, aber ich glaube, ich wäre einfach, ich könnte wirklich mit Ben, könnte ich nicht aufhören zu machen.
Also liebe Regisseurinnen und Regisseure da draußen, Challenge accepted. Mingelt diese beiden doch mal bitte in einem Film oder einer Serie zusammen. Das wäre gut.
Bitte nehmt euch dafür sehr viel Zeit vor.
Okay, nächster Satz. Wer würde am ehesten eine Szene improvisieren und damit alle überraschen?
1, 2, 3, zeigen. Okay, warte, zeigt gerade jeder auf jemand anderen?
Wir finden uns alle so gut.
Aber war das überhaupt ein Ding jetzt hier bei Maxton Hall? Gab es da viel Raum für Improvisation oder war es relativ scharf so am Skript?
Ich glaube, es kommt immer ganz drauf an, welche Momente man irgendwie halt einfängt. Also so gerade in unserer Freundesgruppe gab es oft Momente, wo wir improvisieren durften und auch ein bisschen mit nicht ganz uns ans Drehbuch gehalten haben und so. Also da darf man schon auch, zumindest Martin, unser Regisseur, lässt es zu, dass wir uns auch ein bisschen ausprobieren.
Ich habe den in einem Video gesehen, ich glaube, da hast du, Ben, durchs Set geführt. Und da hast du ihn mal kurz vorgestellt, den Regisseur, genau. Und der wirkte auch super cool, der hat auch so ein bisschen Quatsch mitgemacht und so, weil das ist ja bestimmt auch mega wichtig. Wir haben gestern auch hier einen Talk mit einer Regisseurin gehabt, wo es auch darum ging, wie wichtig das ist, dass auch der Connect besteht, nicht nur unter euch, sondern auch Richtung Regie, ne? Ja.
An der Stelle liebe Grüße an unseren Regisseur.
Ja, Kai, wir haben dich lieb.
Hallo.
Auch an unseren.
Ja,
genau,
Martin.
Martin.
Okay, nächste.
Wer würde dazu down zu trinken?
Was hast du gesagt?
Ich will die ganze Zeit Wasser trinken, aber meine Hände zittern so doll.
Bist du aufgeregt oder wegen des Spiels?
Wenn man der allgemeinen Situation.
Wenn man neben Mr. Fantasy sitzt, dann kann das schon mal vorkommen.
Du sagst es.
Aber weißt du, was das Krasse ist? Ich hatte auch schon mega oft Situationen, in denen ich irgendwas gehalten habe, auf der Bühne oder so oder gerade auch Wassergläser und dachte, ich zitter total. Und hinterher habe ich mir die Übertragung angeguckt. Man selber merkt, dass man sieht es nicht, also trink ruhig.
Okay.
Pass auf.
Wir achten jetzt auch alle gar nicht drauf.
Wir machen auf alle weggucken. Genau, für 10 Sekunden machen alle die Augen zu und Justus kann trinken.
1, 2, 3. Weggucken, Augen zu.
Okay,
Hast du fertig?
Ich bin fertig.
Okay, fertig.
Danke.
Moment, aber warte mal. Okay. Haben die Kameras jetzt auch weggeguckt oder hat Kai unser Regisseur jetzt so eine Großaufnahme?
Was habe ich gesagt? Hast du fertig?
Naja. Wer würde denn von euch am ehesten die Stimmung am Set retten, wenn alle gestresst sind?
Ja,
1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Bist du so der Klassenclown da in der Crew?
Ja. In der Schule war ich auf jeden Fall der Klassenclown und ich glaube, das hat sich dann so ins Berufsleben mit so rein.
Aber findest du gut, oder?
Doch, will ich nicht. Also ja, ist doch nett, Menschen zum Lachen bringen. Ja, doch.
Okay, wer würde am ehesten auch im echten Leben auf eine Eliteschule passen?
1, 2, 3, go, 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 go.
Habe ich mir gedacht, weil du warst doch mal, also ich weiß nicht, ob es eine Eliteschule war, aber du warst doch mal in L.A. irgendwo, ne? Das klingt auch richtig fancy.
Ich habe da studiert.
Was denn?
An der USC.
Dramatic. Drama.
School of Dramatic Arts.
School of Dramatic Arts.
USC, ja,
Ich
genau.
wollte Streberin sein, sagen, ich weiß es nicht. Hier.
Ich habe Theater studiert mit Film im Nebenfach.
Ergibt Sinn.
Ja.
Und war das so fancy da?
Ja, es war crazy.
Ja?
Also ich habe auch nur so 2 Jahre an der Uni gemacht. In den USA braucht man so 4 Jahre, um seinen Bachelor zu machen. Und ich war 2 Jahre auf einem Community College. Das ist so ein bisschen chilliger, ein bisschen öffentlicher halt, zugänglicher, auch finanziell. Und dann habe ich transferiert, um meinen Bachelor zu machen. Und dann war es halt plötzlich so komplettes Gegenteil. Also alle waren irgendwelche Kinder von irgendwem und es waren halt auch so Entertainment-Kinder, weil die ganze Stadt besteht ja eigentlich nur aus so
Nepo-Babys.
Nepo-Babys, ja. Und es war crazy. Also, aber es war eine tolle Zeit. Ich habe ganz viel gelernt.
Hast du noch Kontakt oder so zu Leuten?
Ja.
Wer so?
Und wem kannst du uns die Nummer geben?
Ich will jetzt keine Namen droppen.
Okay.
Aber alle weg.
Wir gucken alle weg, wir machen 10 Sekunden die Augen zu und du droppst. Okay, nächste.
Ich trinke noch mal einen Schluck.
Nächsten Chat, genau.
Wer läuft am ehesten Gefahr, nach Drehschluss noch in der Rolle zu bleiben? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Aber ist das ein Ding, die Rolle ablegen, oder hast du so ein Ritual, wie du die ablegen kannst?
Oder eben auch nicht, weil du
Oder
einfach drin
halt auch
bleibst.
nicht.
Also ich glaube, es kommt sehr auf die Rolle drauf an. Für mich ist Wasser immer so, also mein Element ist Wasser und so. Und Wasser hat für mich irgendwie voll die Kraft. Und so danach duschen zu gehen, auch irgendwie nach einem schweren oder emotionalen Drehtag hilft total. Bei Amber ist es, also Amber und ich, wir sind so ein bisschen vermorft.
Oh.
Und ich mag viele Sachen auch an Amber, die ich dann gerne irgendwie mit in mein Leben nehme. Und ich glaube, wir haben viele Überschneidungen. Und deswegen kann man das manchmal gar nicht so einfach voneinander trennen. Was jetzt ich und was jetzt Amber ist.
Was ja mega verrückt ist, weil soweit ich weiß, warst du ganz kurz davor, Amber abzulehnen. Oder du hast sie abgelehnt, die Rolle, ne?
Amber nicht.
Du hast generell, du wolltest nicht rein in die See, also du hast ein bisschen gestruggelt mit, ob du da so reinpasst.
Genau, ja.
Wieso?
Also das ist ja so, wenn man so einen Casting-Prozess hat, oder auch in diesem Fall waren das aus mehreren Szenen zusammengeschriebene Szenen, wo dann alle so ein bisschen amerikanischer Style alle auf die Hauptrollen gecastet wurden und dann wurde man so verzweigt. Und ich habe ein paar FreundInnen und KollegInnen beim Casting-Vorbereitungen für dieses Casting geholfen, wo auch noch gar nicht bekannt war, dass das jetzt Maxton Hall ist, dass das Save Me ist. Das hieß ganz anders, die Figuren hießen ganz anders.
Das finde ich ja so verrückt immer, dass das dann so verhuschelt wird und man dann erst so nach und nach weiß, was es wirklich ist und man geht da so ein bisschen in so eine Blackbox rein.
Ja, und ich habe eben diese Szenen gelesen, die so zusammengewürfelt waren, wo man natürlich dann auch viele Momente reinpackt, um die Chemie abzutesten, um so viel Emotionen wie möglich in einer Szene irgendwie so abzurattern, um zu gucken, ob das alles funktioniert. Und ich habe das irgendwie gelesen und war so, hui, das ist aber ein bisschen kitschig. Und habe einfach so, ich glaube, in meiner Entwicklung mich zu der Zeit einfach mit anderen Themen auch beschäftigt und irgendwie auch für mich als Frau in dieser Welt und wer will ich sein und was möchte ich machen. Und dann war ich erstmal so, nee, danke schön. Und dann kam sie nochmal. Und ich so, nee. Und dann kam sie nochmal. Und dann habe ich gesagt, okay, ich werde die ganzen Romane an einem Wochenende lesen.
Oh, hast du?
Und alle Drehbücher, die es zu dem Zeitpunkt gab. Und dann habe ich die Bücher angefangen zu lesen. Ich habe mich schrecklich doll in Amber verliebt. Und dann war ich so, ich kann es nicht machen.
Oh Gott.
Ja.
Aber guck mal, was Bücher bewirken können.
Ja, und jetzt sitzen wir hier und Gott sei Dank.
Also muss jetzt absehen. Und bei dir, Justus, bevor wir wir ziehen das hier noch durch das Spiel, aber weil wir gerade jetzt so bei dieser Anfangszeit sind, du hast ja dann, soweit ich weiß, du hast dann Theater gespielt, aber das ist dein erster richtiger Job gewesen, diese Rolle, ne? Großer.
Also mein erster Schauspieljob, ja. Das erste Mal, dass ich bezahlt wurde.
Leute.
Das ist schon krass. Das erste Mal bezahlt werden und dann in 120 Ländern Platz 1 der Amazon-Charts.
Das war crazy, es war echt so von 0 to 1000. So, es war einfach echt überwältigend, aber ja, ein geiler Start.
Ja, geiler Start, kann man wohl so sagen. Ja.
Aber ich finde das generell so absurd, dass es jetzt durch diesen Weltweit-Charakter, wie viele Menschen da wirklich drauf gucken und wie investiert die Menschen da drin sind bei einer Serie, die auf einer Bücherreihe basiert ja sowieso. Hat euch das auch so ein bisschen überrollt?
Voll. Also auch nachdem die Serie rauskam und wir dann irgendwie im Urlaub waren oder so, wirst du auch in Spanien erkannt oder in Italien. Und dann wirst du in Spanien von irgendwelchen kolumbianischen Mädels angesprochen und du denkst dir so, was zur Hölle passiert hier gerade?
Aber sind internationale Fans anders drauf als Deutsche? Also merkt ihr das? Welches Land hat die coolsten Fans?
Die sind viel offener, auf einen zuzugehen. Sorry.
Na, wie sorry?
Ich habe dich unterbrochen.
Antworte doch bitte nicht, wenn wir fragen, hä? Nee, also sag mal, merkt ihr Unterschiede, internationale Fans versus deutsche Fans?
Ich glaube, es macht was anderes mit einem, ne? Also wenn dann, du bist in einem anderen Land und wirst erkannt, bist auch immer so, okay, krass, was geht hier ab? Also es ist halt eine ganz andere Dimension irgendwie. Aber jetzt so einen großen Unterschied, also irgendwie schreiben viele Leute aus Brasilien mir und so und das ist schon irgendwie, ich war noch nie in Brasilien so und die kennen mich da und so.
Aber es würden dich bestimmt jetzt viele einladen nach Brasilien.
Ich habe viele Einladungen nach Brasilien bekommen.
Das glaube ich sofort.
Bestimmt, ja.
Also wenn Ben irgendwann mal in Brasilien ist.
Ja, wissen wir warum. Es war Maxton Hall. Ja. Okay, komm, wir machen noch 2. Wer würde am ehesten zwischen 2 Takes TikToks drehen?
Ja.
1, 2, 3, zeigen. Ich habe kurz das Spiel vergessen.
Danke.
Also du bist die Social-Media-Maus in der Runde, ja?
Ja, irgendwie schon. Ja.
Aber er macht es halt auch verdammt gut.
Ja.
Also ich bin da manchmal, wenn ich so Instagram-Posts mache, dann kriegt Justus das vorher mal geschickt und dann fragt er, kann ich das so machen und was für eine Caption und sieht das gut so aus?
So jemanden braucht man auf jeden Fall.
Ja, aber Justus hat einfach eine unfassbare Ästhetik.
Maus.
Also nein, for real. Also ich liebe seine Ästhetik und der hat so einen Blick für Sachen und wir sind im Urlaub und der macht so Fotos und die sehen einfach, also von so Obst und das sieht dann einfach, aber das sieht dann halt einfach super krass aus.
Wie hast du Ben gerade genannt?
Von so einer Banane?
Ja. Und dann hole ich mir selber das, also dann airdroppe ich mir immer die Fotos, die Justus macht und dann benutze ich jetzt manche Fotos auf meinem Instagram hat Justus gemacht.
Mir macht es aber auch einfach Spaß. Ja.
Und wie viele Posts schickt Ben dir zum Abnehmen?
Auch viele eigentlich, oder?
Ja,
Machst du das auch?
Das wirklich
Ich glaube, das macht der ganze Cast.
Machst du das for real? Ich dachte, ich wäre deine einen.
Ich bin auch archiviert.
Aber Justus, du musst Geld dafür nehmen. Es scheint vielleicht in den...
Nein,
Freunde mache ich doch.
Ach, guck mal, perfekt. Ja. Sehr gut. So, einen letzten noch?
Ich habe gar keinen mehr, aber ich kann mir einen ausdenken.
Nee, ich habe noch einen. So. Wer würde am ehesten in einem Interview den größten Spoiler verraten?
1, 2, 3, zeigen.
Wir alle.
Ja, okay. Es ist halt wirklich so schwer, das nicht zu machen.
Aber ist das überhaupt ein Ding?
Was passiert in Staffel 3?
Also.
Ja,
stimmt.
Nein, aber deswegen meine ich, ist das überhaupt ein Ding mit Spoilern bei der Serie? Weil diese Serie als Buch ist ja schon längst in der Welt und jetzt kommt Staffel 2 und natürlich sind wir alle gespannt, wie das umgesetzt sein wird. Aber im Prinzip, wie der Plot sich so grob bewegt, das wissen wir.
Ja.
Werden wir sehen.
Werden wir sehen. Gutes Stichwort, Ben. Werden wir sehen. Wir gucken uns jetzt zusammen den Trailer an von Staffel 2. Also, hier wurde gerade was geflüstert. Was habt ihr geflüstert zum Trailer? Weil ihr habt ihn doch bestimmt schon oft gesehen.
Voll, ich habe Brille. Ja.
Ach so, du hast gesagt, du konntest ihn nicht sehen.
Nicht sehen. Ich habe ihn schon gesehen, auf jeden Fall. Ich habe Justus nur geflüstert, ich habe eine Brille, die ich nie aufsetze.
Ah, okay. Aber du kannst ihn ja wahrscheinlich schon auswendig. Wie aufgeregt seid ihr jetzt? Jetzt war dieser riesige Erfolg da nach Staffel 1, jetzt kommt Staffel 2, ihr habt das fertig gedreht. Ist das jetzt so, wird schon laufen, lief ja auch schon beim ersten Mal oder das Gegenteil eher?
Ich glaube, also erstens ist natürlich ein Druck, wenn man so eine erfolgreiche erste Staffel hat, dann irgendwie hoffentlich daran auch anzuknüpfen. Und dann auch durch diesen großen Erfolg sind natürlich jetzt auch irgendwie sehr, sehr viele Augen darauf gerichtet. Und ich glaube, es ist auch so, wir haben jetzt dann am Freitag die Premiere von der 2. Staffel. Und das ist alles so viel größer, als wir uns das jemals irgendwie hätten vorstellen können. Und es ist so, es kommen so viele Menschen und es ist irgendwie verrückt. Und ich tendiere dann persönlich dazu, immer so zu sagen, ach nee, es wird gar nicht so groß. Und dann stehe ich da und bin so, oh Gott.
Ja, also ich glaube, das brauchst du jetzt so langsam nicht mehr sagen, weil groß wird es in jedem Fall zumindest erstmal die Premiere und was danach kommt, werden wir dann sehen. Auf jeden Fall gibt es sehr, sehr viele Menschen da draußen, die sich in allen Sprachen der Welt freuen auf das, was da kommen wird. Wir hoffen mit euch, dass es der nächste Riesenerfolg wird und schauen natürlich alle zu, sagen euch an dieser Stelle Dankeschön, dass ihr da wart.
Schön, dass ihr da wart. Vielen, vielen Dank. Einen Riesenapplaus bitte nochmal. Dankeschön, danke.
Ja, wow.
Was waren das schon wieder für 2 unfassbar tolle Tage?
Ja, ich bin so, mein Herz ist gerade so beides. Einerseits denke ich auch so, boah, es war so toll, ich bin noch ganz beseelt und gleichzeitig irgendwie auch ein bisschen traurig, dass es vorbei ist, aber natürlich vor allem überglücklich, dass wir das alles hier machen können und zwar mit euch allen, die hier sind und natürlich auch mit euch allen. Wir haben euch gespürt durch den durch den Stream, dass ihr dabei wart. Also vielen, vielen Dank und ja, hoffentlich
bis nächstes Mal.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
Dankeschön.
Danke euch. Schönen Abend.
Tschüss. Mona Jan.